Welcome to the weekend here on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Our show brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Gorgeous weather here in Belmont, New York, as we get set for two graded stakes races coming up this afternoon, and a great crowd on hand to take in all the action. Noble Damsel on turf, and the grade 2 Kelso. Prince Lucky, multiple graded stakes winner, back in action for trainer Todd Pletcher. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling, and Prince Lucky looks like he's the horse to beat in that race.
It does. It does look like he's the horse to beat, but I think the way you say it, I think you agree, it's a narrow margin. It feels like a race where there's more than a few horses that can win there. There are some questions. True Timber off the layoff. I think Monongahela is a bit interesting cutting back. A lot of different ways to go, as well as Plainsman, who would have to improve, but I thought he ran very well in his comeback.
We're coming up immediately here on the fourth race. It's just 3 minutes to post. It's a maiden special weight. Mile and a 16th on the turf. In 3 to 5 eagerly for Todd Pletcher, an American Pharoah, second time on turf.
So far, it's the day of wildly overbet mediocre favorites. We did see one win by a bare nose in the third race, and a fortunate winner at that, and one finish off the board and one run second. And I think Eagerly's way overbet. I'm not saying he's not the horse to beat. Thought he ran okay in his debut. I imagine, Greg, he probably won't take himself out of the race as much as he did in his first start, but I still think he's a bit of a plotter. And there are some interesting players, including the 7, Glynn County, but some first-time starters as well.
Check in with Maggie Wolfendale, get her thoughts.
Thanks, Greg. And I adhere to that as what Andy just said. In regards to second-time starter Glynn County, he is the one that I want with experience. I liked him a lot first time out, and a lot of times you see those Kitten's Joys that they are just kind of those raw, kind of big bone types, but he's so athletic and so beautifully put together. And watching him warm up, I mean, I wanted to climb on his back as well and ride him. He just looks so nice. And I think getting Lasix now in his second start should move him up, because physically it has, in the fact that he's fitter and he's stronger. I think he's a real threat to the favorite. As a couple of first-time starters, the 1A U.S. Delta Force, big, as I was mentioning, raw type. He is that. He was very, very green in the paddock, but once he got out on track, Javier Castellano gave him a nice warm-up away from the pony, and he seemed to focus a lot more, got that nervous energy out of his system, so I like to see that. He definitely took a step forward in my eyes from paddock to trackside. His number 8 is Tiesto, $600,000 OBS April purchase, worked 21 flat. Huge, huge horse. Tall and long with a massive stride to him. We'll see how he does here. He's a half to promises fulfilled, though there is some turf on the bottom side as well, and he looks very turf meant and does look very fit for a Belmont firster. Greg?
Maggie, thanks. She was talking about the 7 a little bit, Glynn County, and yeah, that horse, second time out. Kendrick Carmouche back aboard, faced the horse who would come back and win the Breeders' Cup win in your race, the Grade 1, Group 1 Summer that we showed last weekend. So tough field. 7 certainly a contender at 4 to 1.
And gets Lasix for his second start, and for a trainer, Jimmy Toner, first time out, that just doesn't usually have them ready for their first starts. I think a little improvement. He's right there. And you know, the thing about Eagerly, I'm not sure what was so impressive about Eagerly. A lot of times people look at running lines or races and they see horses that make big closes and they somehow get some exciting, because it's thrilling, right, when horses are making big runs. But actually, in watching Eagerly's race, he kind of got there and was sort of grinding at the end. I'm not saying he can't win the race. He obviously can. But there's a lot of unknowns in here, and his debut race was not so compelling that you're supposed to take a short price. It's not like he had any trouble in there, Greg. He was just sluggish.
See the improvement here from start 1 to 2. Anyone of those who have started, there's only a couple who have started in here. It's the 2 we've talked about. And you have a bunch of first-time unknown starters as well who could, if they can run, any one of them, run a little bit.
Right, it's not like Eagerly's race was so good that a first-timer who was decent wouldn't be able to beat him. I just think he's way overbet.
Of the firsters, who intrigues you the most?
The 8, Tiesto. Big purchase price. I love the horse's 21 workout at the sales, and even his half promise fulfilled. There's turf in there as well. He or the 6 horse, who's not taking much money, Kianos, but they were the 2 I'd look at. But I bet the 7, Glynn County, to win.
Brad Cox trains Kianos, of course, sending out Kofefe later today in the Dogwood at Churchill. We will have live coverage coming up this afternoon. Frank Lyons live on site in Louisville. We'll check in with Frank in just a little bit. Right now, loading up Here for the fourth. Again, 1 mile and a 16th on the turf, and Eagerly, the 4-horse. Son of American Pharaoh, the Triple Crown champion, trying to graduate here at start number 2 and get that first win. Let's send it upstairs to the voice, Force Racing's Triple Crown, for the call. Here's Larry Colmus.
U.S. Delta Force will be the second last to go into the starting gate here. Stepping forward and in, and one left to load. That's Tiesto to the outside stall. Tiesto coming up. Goes in, and they're all in line. They're off. U.S. Delta Force out the best. Speeds out to the early lead. Eagerly is closer today and is second on the inside. Farther out, Glenn County is going up and now grabs second position. Mr. Short and Simple and Tiesto are next. A length and a half farther back to Upham inside of Plan of Attack. And then comes the trailer, Quineios. So up the backstretch they go, and it is U.S. Delta Force in front. The leader by a length and a half over Glenn County, and then it's Eagerly third on the inside. Tiesto follows in fourth. Mr. Short and Simple is 5 lengths off the lead through a 24.27 opening quarter mile. Then Upham on the inside of Plan of Attack, and Quineios is the trailer. U.S. Delta Force and Javier Castellano lead the field up the backstretch, with Glenn County in pursuit from second position as they go through this first half mile in 48.83 seconds. Eagerly is third on the inside of Tiesto. Then a break of another 2 lengths more back to Mr. Short and Simple. Plan of Attack on the outside. Upham and Quineios. Around the far turn, U.S. Delta Force by a neck. Glenn County edging up alongside in second. Tiesto is third. And now John Velasquez is really trying to motivate Eagerly. He's got to go. He's 4 lengths off the lead and under pressure as they make their way toward the top of the stretch, where it is U.S. Delta Force turning for home, taken on by Glenn County on the outside. Tiesto is coming up to them too. Eagerly, no better than fourth here, and now being passed on the outside by Plan of Attack. And from the back of the pack, it's Quineios. Plan of Attack steady there in mid-pack as they come down to the wire. It's going to be Tiesto, who's a runaway winner. Tiesto won it by 4. Eagerly got second. Quineios was drifting out late and was third, and then Plan of Attack.
Tiesto, first time out, son. It's his now for Belmont. $600,000 purchase at auction. Impressive debut.
That was an impressive debut, Greg. I mean, that was a very slow pace, right? We've seen speed be pretty good in the Widener, and he was nowhere to be seen. Made a big wide run here and just buried the field. What did he win by 3-4 lengths in this race? A very fair time. The turf is very firm, but you consider the pace of this race. I mean, what did they come the last half? They came home in like 54, under 54. This horse can run.
Yes, he can. 24-1 opening. Yeah, they were kind of dawdling early on and still puts in this powerful kick.
For a trainer who's not known to be a guy who has them ready for their first starts, right? So, I mean, obviously he was ready for today's race, but you got to think he's going to improve. And how are you not impressed by this?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Get the Breeders' Cup? Very, what?
No, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, it's hard to get in because he's only got a maiden win, and it's hard to get, you know, the Pilgrim is in 2 weeks or a week, and Keeneland's a few weeks away, and a horse like this, you don't rush him. You do the right thing. He'll get you to the right races eventually.
Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Please be joined by Hall of Fame trainer Bill Mott in the winner's circle here, and an absolutely gorgeous animal that you have on your hands, Tiesto, and he's a first-time out winner, Bill.
Right. He's trained well. He's a nice big horse. Taken a little while to come around, but he's finally come into his own in the last 2 or 3 works, shown a little bit more zip to him and got a little better from the gate. Initially, he was, you know, had a little trouble leaving the gate, but he broke well today and was in the race and finally found his stride within the 8th pole.
Yeah, given the way that this race shaped up, Bill, it was impressive because the early horses towards the front end, they didn't finish quite as well as he did.
Yeah, well, you know, I was watching him and I was watching my other horse at the other end of the race. We were bookends, but Tiesto did run very well. I thought he looked, you know, he had a beautiful trip outside, but nice and clear clean trip, and for a big, long striding horse, it was probably the kind of trip that he needed first time.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations. He's back here in the winner's circle.
Thank you.
And Tiesto, guys, I mean, the future looks awfully bright for this son of Tisnow. Very nice pedigree as well, as this dam has thrown all kinds of runners, including promises fulfilled, Greg.
Ooh, extremely fast and talented runner for Dale Romans.
This horse is the opposite, right?
Yeah.
but he's good.
Yes.
The only thing, actually, the thing that they have in common is they're both very talented. To watch the replay, Larry Comas pointed out, be the one plan of attack tried to savage the 4 eagerly in the stretch.
Track conditions, they're presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, Pescon, main track fast. Turf course firm for today's action here in Elmont, New York. Here's what we have ahead for you today. Races 4 through 11 at Belmont, including the Grade 3 Noble Damsel, significant form. Gutting out that victory in the Ballston Spa, part of a pair of runners in there for Chad Brown, and the Grade 2 Kelso. Pat on the back, getting another crack at Open Graded Stakes Company. And Churchill Downs, Kofefe, coming off that Grade 1 win in the test in that brilliant stretch stool against Kentucky Oaks winner Serengeti Empress. It was going to be an absolute handful in the Dogwood.
Yeah, she's going to be very tough to beat. I'm going to take a little shot with Champagne Anyone, but not sure she can beat a talent like Kofefe.
Race 5 at Churchill, 6.5 furlongs. It's a $30,000 maiden claiming race. And a first-time starter right now for Norm Cassie, the 3, is favored. Son of Munnings, Ricardo Santana will be aboard. Naughty Alfred, 5-2 on the board. Let's check in with Frank Lyons live in Louisville.
Hi guys, welcome to Churchill Downs, where the scheduled high today is a balmy 95 degrees, but it doesn't feel like that. It's actually up about 90, but it's a cool breeze, so it's nothing like last week. The horses were relaxed in the paddock. We have the pick 6, pick 5, pick 4 to come later on in the card, and the feature race today is the Dogwood, which features Kofefe, probably the best 3-year-old sprinter in the country. I imagine she's been prepped today for the Breeders' Cup next month or in November. So we'll wait and we'll see. I'm here today to help you pick some winners. So we'll try to do that. The 5th race is coming up here in a few minutes. And to be honest with you, the 3 looks a mile better than these horses. But he just maybe might need the race. He's down inside, you know, for 2-year-olds. That's not the best place to be. But if I was to ever look at a horse, I would say that the 3 horse is a very good-looking horse here coming up in the 5th race for trainer Norm Cass. That's Naughty Alfred, the 3.
Frank, thank you. And there is Naughty Alfred. So the debut here has been working steadily at Churchill Downs for this debut. And he's got Ricardo Santana Jr. on board. But this horse was 6-1 morning line, and the word must be out.
Norm Cassie has had some success with his firster, so I have to trust the money. I was going to take a small flyer with the 2 game set match. I think I'll bet some small exactas.
See prices there from Belmont. Tiesto, the first-time starter for Bill Mott. Saw him with some firsters at Saratoga this summer. He does it again here. Yeah, Belmont with Tiesto, very impressive in the debut here. Besting second-time starter Eagerly, who was an odds-on favorite in that spot. 12 horse getting some play here as well. It's Arch Rival, who's just claimed now with Bentley Combs, taken off of Rudolph Brissett. Start number 3 for Arch Rival today, who's 5-1.
How is there not going to be some better horses making their debuts than this horse, though I suppose he could improve off the claim? We saw Bentley Combs win a race at Saratoga, right? Feels like it.
I'm sorry?
I think we saw Bentley Combs win a race at Saratoga this summer for Marshall Graham.
I believe we did. I believe we did.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
interesting trainer.
You know, Kentucky Peerless, the 11, who was dropping in for a claiming tag for the first time.
And a new
recently gelded, yeah. Enough changes to make the difference?
Listen, I would not knock any price in this race. There is really no form from the horses that have run. Now, obviously, you have to respect the money that keeps pouring in on the 3. The 2 game set match, the dam herself was not much of a runner, but she's produced 5 dirt horses. 1 ran the 70s, 2 ran the 60s. They weren't killers, but they could run a little bit, and it's not going to take an Herculean effort here, is it, Greg?
No, I would not think so. Loading up. Naughty Alfred remains your favorite. Take the new face in this group. That's the low regard that the betting public has for those who've run in here.
Well, I mean, they've just, done, when you've got a horse like the 12 is 5-1 in here, breaking from a far outside post, right? I mean, I know the horse was claimed for $16,000, and it's a pretty bad second. But listen, could improve off the claim, and if none of the firsts could run, that horse could certainly win.
There's the favorite stepping in from post 3 for Norm Cassie. We send it out to Travis Stone with the call. Race 5, Churchill Downs.
Waiting on Little Dragon. They're in the gate. And they're off. Kentucky Peerless with an alert start. Visual Artist from mid-pack. The Flash is also there. Naughty Alfred sent through down inside. Bacaro Flies is not far behind, and neither is Wicked Wednesday. They sort themselves out, and Naughty Alfred comes away with the lead. Opens up to lead by 3/4 of a length. Visual Artist is tracking the pace, running in second. The Flash is away third. Wicked Wednesday is fourth. Bacaro Flies down inside fifth. Kentucky Peerless comes away mid-pack in sixth. Pray for Jake is down inside while seventh. Arch Rival on the far outside is moving up in eighth. Graze the Bars down inside ninth, followed by Little Dragon, a break of 5 lengths back to Game, Set, and Match. Soar Lake and Eagle totally outrun early. 23 seconds flat the opening quarter. 3 furlongs to go, and Naughty Alfred to catch. Visual Artist has been keeping pace throughout, though. It is right there in the outside as they round the far turn together. 3 lengths back to the Flash on the far outside. Wicked Wednesday at the rail. Arch Rivals winding up from the back of the pack. Still with 6 or 7 lengths to make up, though, and 3/16 to go. Naughty Alfred still there, still in front, shaken up, now a length and a half. Visual Artist has been battling on every step of the way and is still in second and getting closer once again, but with a 16th to go. Naughty Alfred with something left for the final 100 yards, and it will be Naughty Alfred by 2.5 in the end. Visual Artist, a good effort to be second, 6 lengths back to the Flash and Bacaro Flies.
Public was right here. Naughty Alfred first time out for Norm Cassie, DC Racing, and Cardinal Hill Racing with Ricardo Santana Jr.
Money just kept pouring in on this horse. It looked like the 7 Visual Artist might have a chance to run him down. Nobody else was within hailing distance at any point in the race.
3-2, hammered late.
I mean, it was 5-2, 2-1, 3-2, and they were right. They knew, Greg.
3, 7, 10, 6. All right. Is there ever going to be a day that we know?
No.
Okay.
But I think we've proven that.
3, 7, 10, 6 finish, 3-2 favorite on top over 7-2, but then a couple long shots, third and fourth. Maybe you were able to create some value. Back with prices, and we'll set the stage for the 5th at Belmont when we come back on America's Day at the Races here on Fox Sports 2.
Warfront. This son of Danzig ranks among the world's elite sires. With Grade 1 winners on dirt and turf, and star performers both at home and abroad, Warfront's success as an international super sire is unmatched. Recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach and Preakness Stakes hero War of Will. In the sales ring, his $2.4 million sale topper at Keeneland September was the highest price yearling sold in North America last year. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. It's brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Two graded stakes races on today's card. We're going to preview one of them here in just a moment. Look at the winner's circle at Churchill. Naughty Alfred, $5 for the win. Winning for Norm Cassie and Ricardo Santana Jr. on board for the winning ride. Even with Kofefe in that late pick 5. I thought it was a very interesting sequence. Of course, that's still to come, beginning in race 7.
Yeah, no. It's the races there are not easy. I don't know about you. I found them extremely complicated.
Meanwhile, here today, the Grade 2 Kelso. That is race 10 on the card. We touched a little bit upon Prince Lucky, who we'll talk more about in a moment, but pat on the back. It's been very good against New York Bred Company. Won the commentator, a couple starts back. We know maybe shouldn't have won that race. Was a little bit lucky to win it. But he's dealt with chronic foot issues throughout his career. They're seemingly under control now. He's much better at Belmont than he is at Saratoga, according to Jeremiah Engelhardt. You think he can get it done today?
I think he can. He's a remarkably consistent horse. He's in a funny situation, right? Because he's somewhat in a similar spot he was in last time. There was no pace on paper in the tail of the cat, so they decided to be a little aggressive, and 3 other people had the same idea. So, through no fault of their own, they got burned up in a speed duel. There's no pace in this race either. And potentially, he could be in front here. But you know what's going to happen? They're going to feel like they're snake bit from the last time, and they'll take him back, and there will be no pace today, and he'll get compromised by that. But I think he needs to run better than he's ever run before, because there are a number of horses here that's best races, I think, are a bit faster. Do you disagree?
No, I would agree with you. No question. The good thing he has in his corner, he's at his best, you would think, here at Belmont. So if he's going to win a graded stake, it would probably come here at Belmont, where he's 5 for 10 lifetime, been first or second in 8 of 10 starts.
And the one-turn mile is really very good distance, a good race for him. We'll see if he can step up. I don't blame him taking a shot. They wanted to last year, and the foot issues, I think, kept him out of the race last year.
Well, Todd Pletcher, he was thinking for a little bit about the Forgo and the Woodward with Prince Lucky. Those would have been tough spots with Matoli and Preservationists.
They would have, but if you're Todd Pletcher and you look at the horse Bal Harbor, who finished second in the Woodward, and you look at Prince Lucky, you probably ask him at least before that race, and he'd say, well, Prince Lucky's the better horse, maybe.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's thinking, I'm glad I didn't run him in the Woodward. I think he's probably thinking maybe he would have had a chance. His good races are good. He ran well in here, and I think you can make excuses. His Met Mile, he was wide chasing on a day you needed to be inside near the front end. And the Westchester, I don't think he handled the sloppy sealed track. And listen, he is a completely different 4-year-old than 3-year-old. And when he's been in a competitive situation and not up against it, he's run well in all of his races.
Multiple graded stakes winner. He's 2 for 4 here at Belmont, including his last try here at a mile and a 16th. Grade 2 Kelso. That is the 10th on the card. We also have the Noble Damsel. We'll see if significant form can pick up back-to-back graded stakes wins, but her stablemate might be tough in that race.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I like significant form. I thought it was a very tough race. I think Valedictorian's dangerous towards the front end. I think when you take apart significant form's races, 7 furlongs to a mile, very, very good distance for her. And I think she may be a horse that's just been in some of the wrong races because they were the right races to run in. Big races pointing towards that Belmont Oaks. But really, this is where she belongs, and I think she's going to be a handful today.
5th race, you saw the current odds. Non-winners at 2 lifetime here at 6 furlongs. Coming up in 5-2 favorite. This one right here, this is Talent Scout. Used to be long time ago with Bob Baffert, who trained him to a debut victory against Maiden Special Weight. That was in October of 2017. Went to the bench for about a year and a half. and has come back against much softer competition. Not the same horse.
No, he's kind of a poster child for how tough the game is, right? He started out looking like he could have been a Triple Crown type contender, and now he's struggling to be competitive in 16 claimers.
Let's get a paddock report, head downstairs, check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
Right, so that hints at a horse having some issues probably in regards to number 7, Talent Scout. One thing I can pick up here in the paddock is that a lot of times when you have horses that might have breathing issues is that sometimes the less equipment that you can have on them, the better. So this guy is just running in a very light snaffle, loose ring snaffle, no noseband, no nothing, and just a tongue tie. So right there, that tells me that he probably does have a little bit of a compromised throat, hence the layoff, hence why now he's in at this level. Physically, he looks great though. I really have no complaints, but 2 to the outside of him that might be better prices in here really interest me. One of them includes number 8, Laughing Manners, for trainer Charlie Baker, who I just have an inkling that his barn might be heating back up again as we head into the fall and on to Aqueduct as well. And this horse looks tremendous. It's the best I've seen him appear all year long. He looks strong. His coat looks fantastic. I think at a price that Laughing Manners could easily get a piece of this, as probably the main opposition to Talent Scout is on the outside with number 9, Major Flirt, for Linda Rice. Now, she has dropped him precipitously, which isn't necessarily a positive Linda move, but he fits nicely with the rest of the competition here. This is the sharpest that I've ever seen him appear before a race, and physically, I have no complaints whatsoever. So maybe he's just finding the right level here, Greg.
Yeah, we'll find out. A lot of times that never hurts who you were facing. Getting a soft or the right group makes all the difference in the world. Right now, there's Major Flirt, 7-2, Jose Lezcano, Linda Rice.
I don't like Major Flirt. I guess he can win. It's not going to take a lot to win it. I thought he was kind of running when the race was over last time out, but maybe it'll help here. I'm very interested in the 2, Aries Naughty Luca. Aries Naughty Luca finished just a few lengths behind Talent Scout last time, and he was taken out of his game, forced to chase a pace that collapsed. There's absolutely no speed on paper in this race other than him, especially with the scratch of the number 1A busted Mach 4. So I think there's real potential for Aries Naughty Luca to be the controlling speed from the inside, and take a chance with him to wire the field.
And Dylan Davis on board has been very quick. Has had clear leads in the past.
He's no superstar.
No, and has folded. We'll see. Here's Elios Milos. Blinkers going on today for this 4-year-old son of Dublin.
Yeah, he's been a big disappointment. Obviously, issues have gotten in his way. He missed so much time on the racetrack. He once was promising, but it just seems like his form's lost him, but he could win here.
Rajiv Mirage for Dominic Schettino there. The rail, too, the one Andy was just talking about, Aries Naughty Luca, speed inside.
I think his races are not as bad as they may look, and this is the easiest spot he's been in, potentially, is the controlling speed.
Rider change on the 3. It's Luis Reyes on Call the Cat. Did very little running last start.
No, but if you go the every other route, 2 back and 4 back, he actually ran pretty well, or well enough to be a contender here.
Johnny Wishbone, we see next. Tom Morley runner coming off a $20,000 maiden claiming win. That was in the slop in June here.
Well, if you go by the idea that Maggie was concerned that he wouldn't handle the slop last time, otherwise thought he could win, maybe he'll run better on a dry track today.
Our favorite, Talent Scout, Kendrick Carmouche already has a win on today's card, teaming up with Dave Duggan.
He can obviously win this race. He was very much with the flow of the race last time, which I think flattered him because that race just fell apart in the late stages, but doesn't mean he's not a logical horse here.
7-1 on this one. Laughing Manners, Charlie Baker, 2 back, broke his maiden on a race taken off the turf.
Now, he was forwardly placed in that race last time out in the race that fell apart, but he did finish behind both the number 2 and the favorite, Talent Scout.
And Major Flirt, 3-1 outside. It's Linda Rice and Jose Lezcano.
I don't see the great appeal of this horse, to be honest, going down to Laurel in a 5.5 furlong race and running mediocrely at 6-5. And I don't love horses also that are claimed from Todd Pletcher, but can't knock the job Linda Rice does.
5 minutes away, race 5 at Belmont. We'll have it for you live when we come back on America's Day at the Races. Talent Scout, the 7-horse with Kendrick Carmouche, the one to beat on the board. Your current 2-1 favorite here in race 5.
There's a power so selfless, it has the ability to heal, to inspire, to unite, to change your life.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
They're on. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Well, got to turn with the length of the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
The dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com. Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Back on America's Day at the Races, it is brought to you in part by the champion sprinter Run Happy. Never lost in his career while sprinting, did it all while racing medication-free. Now standing for $25,000 at Claiborne Farm out of legendary stall number 1. We're going to see his 2-year-olds hitting the racetrack in 2020. Our 5th race coming up here. Non-winners of 2 lifetime, 3/4 of a mile. And Talent Scout, the 7, remains our favorite. That has been the case throughout. But a horse who has been at this level before and is not had a very good account of things in those races.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of, look at this race, and it's very hard to, I found it very hard to narrow, to zero in on any horses here. I don't really trust Talent Scout, didn't want a short price. I don't really understand the appeal of Major Flirt as much as I respect Linda Rice and realize obviously he could win this race. And one of the reasons I went the 2 Aries Naughty Luca was I found a hook, a reason to play. Thought he could be the inside speed, and that could propel him because he's run some races in the past that are good enough to win here. They were, though, for Linda Rice, but a little bit of a flyer. Thought I'd get a better price than 5-1, to be honest.
Let's check in again with Maggie Wolfendale.
Bit of a one-hit wonder, one could say, in regards to number 1. That's Elios Milos, who has never gotten back to that debut race. And since coming back here in 2019, he's been a late scratch or a vet scratch the morning of several times. He was picked up last time by trainer Dominic Schettino, who is off to a flying start, one would have to realize, here at Belmont. He does add blinkers to a horse, though, just a shortcut, that is just very dull acting. He just very laid back, doesn't really have much enthusiasm in the paddock, same out on the racetrack. He looks fine, but he's going to need to wake up a little bit, especially given his recent form. We'll see if he does so with the equipment change, as one that's really awake is number 9, Major Flirt. This is the most revved up I've ever seen this horse, and Jose Lascano gave him a massive warm-up. As soon as they turned around in front of the stands here, he about 2-minute licked over to the backside. So a massive, massive warm-up for a horse who does lack a bit of early pace, especially in these sprints. So at least every indication pre-race, and definitely not on form though, he may show a little bit more speed than what he has in the past. So we'll see. I don't trust him like Andy, but then again, who can you really trust in this field, Greg?
I think the nature of this condition is 16,000 non-trusting lifetime.
I agree. I mean, you look to the field and you say, tough to bet, tough to bet, tough to bet. Somebody's going to win this race.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. Maybe 2 will hit the wire together, but someone's going to win, and it's just tricky, And for me in those races, I'm never likely to land on the favorite because, if you thought the favorite just looked best, you'd probably pick them, you know. When I find them struggling, so I try to find something that maybe I can be a little bit creative, see if it works out.
And, you know, with that, as we look at who you and Maggie went with in here, why not a horse like the 5, who the only time he dropped in for maiden claiming he won? He's kind of an unknown now, too, on a fast track.
No.
He won that sloppy going, as you mentioned, but may get better.
No, I would never knock somebody
going.
for taking the 5 Johnny Wishbone in this race. I totally agree with you. He obviously improved for Tom Morley. Maybe, as it turned out, he improved on a sloppy track. On the other hand, the race he ran that day is certainly not, it puts him right in the mix here. So I would not. He's 11-1 also. I mean, is he really supposed to be the longest shot on the board in this race, Johnny Wishbone? Sure doesn't look like it to me on paper.
I don't think anyone should be, no, 2-1, 10-1 separates everybody.
Yeah. It's that
I
kind
don't
of
know
race.
if it should be that big of a disparity.
No, I don't disagree. This is a very this was the last race that I made picks for. It took me a long time to decide on who to land on, and so I'm going to try to wire the field. And I hope Dylan Davis is aggressive with Aaron's Naughty Luca.
Well, it's gone back and forth between the 7 Talent Scout, the 9 Major Flirt is your favorites. It is Talent Scout again, the 7, your favorite, Kendrick Carmouche. In the irons, we will send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing for the call. Race 5 from Belmont. Here's Larry Colmus.
There goes Laughing Manners into the gate. Major Flirt coming up to complete the line. They're all in line. They're off. Call the Cat. Out for the lead with Talent Scout on the outside, showing some early foot. And then on the inside, it's Ari's Naughty Luca. Johnny Wishbone is right in the leading group 2. Major Flirt is 5th on the far outside. Break of another 2 back to Talent Scout. And then comes Elios Milos at the back of the pack. So they make their way into the far turn. It is Call the Cat on the inside. Johnny Wishbone right alongside in second. These 2 matching strides. Laughing Manners is just to their outside, running in third through a 22.88 opening quarter mile. And then Ari's Naughty Luca on the far outside, moving up his Talent Scout around Major Flirt on the far turn. And now the trailer is Elios Milos. It is Call the Cat, Johnny Wishbone, and coming up to them is Ari's Naughty Luca. And they turn for home after a half mile in 46 seconds flat. These 3 right together at the top of the stretch, and farther out it's Talent Scout, who's trying to come and get them too. Elios Milos is behind the leaders in 5th. It is now Ari's Naughty Luca who strikes the front by the 16th pole. From Johnny Wishbone, Talent Scout, Elios Milos, and Call the Cat, it's gonna be Ari's Naughty Luca to win it by a length over Johnny Wishbone. Then it was Talent Scout in a photo between Elios Milos and Call the Cat.
Different tactics than expected, but the result you were hoping for here. Ari's Naughty Luca 4-1 with a win. Dylan Davis, Patrick Quick team up.
Greg gets the pleasure of spending so much quality time with me almost every day. He gets to hear me complaining when Dylan Davis was unaggressive with Ari's Naughty Luca. They still pay off, and you know what? He rated comfortably, and Dylan worked out a perfect trip with him.
Yes, he did. Second win from 8 career starts. And in the end, goes off as fourth choice on the board here at 4-1.
Yeah, this horse took money, though. I mean, he didn't look like a 4-1 shot when I picked him. And I think it was just one of those races where probably a lot of people had the same idea as I did. And by the way, why didn't we play an exacta with the 5 Johnny Wishbone, right? Incredible overlay at 11-1 on him. And tough for anybody to really close. Not that the pace was super slow. So I guess Talent Scout ran well. And we'll never really know why there was so much money for the 9 Major Flirt. He was probably flirting in the back of the pack with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, beginning was okay. I was taking a look at the 9 out of the gate.
He's getting back to the winner's circle quickly.
Wow. Wow. Dylan Davis, Ari's Naughty Luca, 4-1. This pick 5, early pick 5.
I bet it's paying a lot.
Oh, it's going to be very nice.
And if that 1-2 NYC hadn't won by a nose
barely,
in the third,
yeah.
Then and I would have scored in the double, and it would have paid huge.
Would have been astronomical.
A lot of tough, bad favorites today.
Back to Churchill. We're approaching the 5-minute mark to post in race 6 here. It's 6.5 furlongs. And Myositis Mystique. Am I close there?
Yes.
John Court on
got
board.
I think you nailed it.
For Greg Foley, turf to dirt, 9-time winner. Off since late July. Right now favored.
You got to love a horse that in 35 starts, and actually 30 dirt starts, right? Well, actually some synthetic, but non-turf. He's 9 wins in 8 seconds and 1/3. When this dude shows up, he is right there.
Unfading Beauty went by her Secret Trick, Michael Lauer.
Sorry, Secret Trick. He looks a little on the slow side and cheaper.
Extreme Caution, 27-1.
Yeah, he's a tough horse to make in this race. Looks too slow.
Dallas Seward sends out Saints Girl coming off a win at Keeneland.
Yeah, now obviously she hasn't run now in 5+ months, but her last couple races give her a chance.
Desert Image, Joe Sharp, Adam Beschizza.
I know that he won a turf race, or she did quickly a few races back, but it was an off the turf race, and it looks more like a turf horse to me.
Don't Eat My Cookies for Joe Woodard. The last win, it came on synthetic at Presque Isle.
Yeah, this one does not look like fast enough on recent form, at least.
9-1, Tickety Boo, Shane Myers. Just missed in a stakes race at Fort Erie.
Big figure for that win last time. No other race makes her competitive.
Parking Ticket, blinkers coming off for Kevin Aubrey.
Yeah, another one we haven't seen for almost 3 months, but she's got races that are contentious. Drops down.
Our favorite, another look at this 5-year-old mare by Haynesfield for Greg Foley.
I love horses like this, right? These old, hard-knocking pros, and this one just seems very consistent.
Yeah, shows up every time.
Amazing.
And then Sky Vision, Norm McKnight, we know what she wants to do. She wants to get to the front.
Yeah, the dirt debut for a horse that the pedigree says no. It's a Court Vision. The Dams horses did not run well on the dirt, but Norm McKnight is super sharp. Would he really have shipped this horse all the way from Woodbine to run here if he thought a cheaper, lower-level horse, if he didn't think the horse could handle the dirt? And keep in mind, Woodbine does have a dirt training track.
She's won 4 out of her last 5, all on synthetic. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
Well, guys, you were just talking about Sky Vision on the outside. She is out of a Maria's Mon mare. Maria's Mon just happens to be the sire of Monarchos and Super Saver, who won the Kentucky Derby right on this track. So I wouldn't say that she can't run on the racetrack. Sky Vision trying the dirt for the first time, kind of unusual. I like the 1 and the 9. I think Greg Foley's going to battle this race out. The 1's going to have to work out a trip from the inside. She comes from off the pace. She won last time out for 16,000, I think, here at Churchill. Last time she ran, that was like 3 starts back. Ricardo Santana is back aboard. He was aboard her that day. But Greg Foley tells me that he likes this Myositis Mystique. She's won 5 of 12 here at Churchill, 2 seconds. She's got the outside, well, the 9 hole, very much a great draw. He says she just wakes up when she comes here, so he expects the 9, Myositis Mystique, to win. I told him he's going to be wrong. His other horse, the 1, Unfading Beauty, is going to get the money.
Love that from Frank. Not shy at all.
No.
To tell Greg Foley he likes his other one. We were just showing the 5. I love the look of the 5, who has been primarily on turf. But you look at the last time that horse was on dirt, race taken off at Fairgrounds. Pretty impressive winner.
I know.
What's wrong?
I can't. No, listen, this horse has some dirt races and obviously can handle the surface. So I don't want it. This isn't one of those turf horses that's never shown anything on the surface. So it's possible, but this is a horse that really, I think, needs to be in front to win. That was 5.5. This is 6.5. And with the presence of the 3, the 7, the 10 especially, even the 4, it seems like there's more pace than this horse can handle, I think, at least on paper, but we'll see.
Meanwhile, the one that Frank liked, Unfading Beauty, down on the inside, can you make the case for that daughter of Patio Prado?
Well, I guess the race at Churchill back in May, yes, is good enough to be a contender. And you could say, well, didn't like the turf, didn't like a muddy sealed track last time, so getting back to a dry track could help. But boy, even the best races sort of make him a fringe player at best, but he's a square price if you like him, so that's fair.
Meanwhile, it's the other Greg Foley run of the 9, 5-2. Solid favorite here in this race. And yeah, don't know if I'm going to play the horse, but intrigued to see how Sky Vision, the 10, runs in here.
I agree. I mean, the pedigree says no, but this trainer is too sharp to have shipped down here. Now, this is also a horse that ran for, haven't seen too many $4,750 claimers, have you, in your career? And you've been watching horse racing for quite a while, Greg, and you've been through a lot of obscure racetracks in your day, but I haven't seen a lot of 47.5 claimers. I've seen 47,500, so it's a lower level. But once again, why would Norm McKnight even ship this horse here? And if you look at his workouts, 2 back was on the Woodbine Trading Track, which is a dirt track. And I have to think that that's the workout that compelled him to come down and run him in this starter option claimer.
By the way,
And what if he clears with Channing Hill? I'm trying to convince myself to bet him, but I'm not going to.
5-1 on the Daughter of Court Vision. But there, you know, as we talked about, there's other speed to contend with in here. Tickety Boo, the 7 with pace. Don't Eat My Cookies, the 6. The 5, Desert Image.
4 has speed. The 3 could be forwardly placed here. I mean, obviously, a lot depends on how guys ride. I'm fascinated by this race. In a way, though, I always root for horses like the 9,
Don't just say the 9.
The 9 horse, the daughter of Haynesfield.
I'm surprised I even got it out.
You buried it. I think Frank almost got it right, which is really the biggest upset of the show.
There she is, moving in. John Court on board. We'll let Travis Stone handle the pronunciations from here. Here's the 6 from Churchill Downs.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Slow start for Secret Trick. Good beginning on the far outside for Sky Vision, who skitters clear by 2 in the opening 16th. Don't Eat My Cookies comes on to be 2nd. Saints Girl down at the inside is racing in 3rd. Desert Image comes away 4th. And then it's Tickety Boo on the outside, moving up from 5th. A few awkward strides there for Extreme Caution back into 6th. Myositis Mystique clear on the track, running along in 7th. Secret Trick is 8th and inside. Unfading Beauty 2nd to last early. And at the back and 10 lengths off the lead is Parking Ticket. Moving for the far turn, Sky Vision. Opening quarter mile in 23 seconds flat with 3 furlongs to go. Desert Image keeping the pressure up on the outside. Tickety Boo 3 wide racing 3rd. Saints Girls getting closer. Forced to go to the far outside from 4th. Winding up nonetheless. Extreme Caution comes on to be 5th. Parking Ticket finds a seam, advances up from 6th as the field turns into the stretch. Sky Vision tries to cut the corner, holding on to the lead. Something left, opens up by 2. Tickety Boo to the attack. Saints Girl down the center of the track. Parking Ticket from last, 1 furlong to go. Sky Vision still there by 2. Saints Girl's grinding away down the center of the track. Here comes Saints Girl with all the momentum, coming after Sky Vision and coming on to win. Saints Girl up to do it. Sky Vision was 2nd. Tickety Boo was 3rd. Parking Ticket 4th.
Dallas Stewart, West Point Thoroughbreds, James Graham, Saints Girl comes and gets Sky Vision, who ran very good in defeat.
Yeah, Saints Girl, Dallas Stewart had her ready to win off the layoff. She dropped down, but she grounded out, and it really looked like Sky Vision had the field measured. Couldn't quite get the 6.5. You said to me top of the stretch, I said, I think the 10's home, and you said 6.5 might prove a little far. Well, Greg, it was a prescient comment, but you know what? Sky Vision ran very well in this race, just couldn't hold off the 4.
Prices from the 6 will set up the late pick 5 at Churchill Downs and talk about Kofefe in the Dogwood. Coming off her grade 1 win in the test in that stretch duel against Serengeti Empress. We'll be back. More America's Day at the Races after a short break.
Not since Danzig has a stallion seen this much early success. He's not just setting records, he's making history. The best started stud ever. Uncle Mo, the momentum continues.
That time at Oaklawn, when a home run made for a big night. Bet on your favorite teams at Oaklawn's new race and sports book. Oaklawn, a new level of action, a new level of excitement.
The thermal spring waters our city is named after are known for their legendary healing properties. Their thirst-quenching properties are pretty nice, too. Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's different here. Come see why.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races. And St. Squirrel. Familiar silks of West Point Thoroughbreds. Dallas Stewart, James Graham. Get by Sky Vision. Tried to take this field gate to wire. Comes up just short.
Yeah, valiant effort, but wasn't able to hold off St. Squirrel, who ground out the victory. Thought St. Squirrel ran very well to get it done. Dallas having her ready off the layoff. Nice job.
4:10.78 finish. That 10-cent superfecta. $233 as we transition back to Belmont Park and into the winner's circle. Back at race 5, Ari's Naughty Luca. Patrick Quick, Dylan Davis picks up the second win of his career.
A nice happy crowd in the winner's circle. 10-20. His horse got bet. And the interesting horse, Johnny Wishbone. I guess Maggie wasn't wrong. He probably did run a little bit better on a dry track, though. I think he handled both surfaces, and he came back for Tom Morley with a good second
Look
there.
at this turn of the page. Are we going to see the early pick 5?
3,800. 3,800, I believe.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. It was almost. There were almost 4 odds-on favorites went down in feet. I think 3 did.
Empire 6. It begins here in the 6th. Maiden special weight, 6 furlongs. Candy Tycoon. Todd Pletcher was odds-on in the debut at Saratoga. Now 1-5.
He's a fairly likely winner of this race, but once again, 1-5? I mean, you've got a first-time star from Chad Brown that costs $340,000. You've got an entry for Godolphin. You've got horses for Brad Cox and Mark Hennig. I mean, it's not as though this is a field full of clowns.
And it's not like he just barely missed by a hiccup.
Right. No, he did have a bad trip.
No,
and he really
fair,
was a horse who was heavily bet first time out that had a bad trip. But still, the assumption is that nobody else in here can run.
Let's get a paddock report. Head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
And guys, while Candy Tycoon looks great in here, and I like that blinkers off move for trainer Todd Pletcher, let's focus in on the rest of the field, which are all first-time starters, beginning with the inside runner that is Azur for trainer Chad Brown. Into Mischief Colt, they, as Andy said, paid a bit for him. The Dam was a multiple graded stakes winner, kind of at those middle distances on the main track. So I think here he's well spotted. Yes, eventually he may want to go a bit further than the 6 furlongs he encounters at first asking. He's actually got one of those really long necks, but he's also a little bit on the, I don't want to say heavy side, just that kind of burlier side where maybe he just needs to race into fitness a bit, and he's not totally clued in necessarily here in the paddock. He's incredibly laid back, but in the same breath, very classy acting. It just seems like that light bulb isn't quite turned on with him, and that he's going to kind of gradually get better as he progresses in his career. But I'm very intrigued by him. I really am excited to see what he does here today because he does look promising. As we move on to the Godolphin entry, beginning with number 1, Spycraft for Tom Albatrani, a son of Discreet Cat. And there's not much pedigree in the first generation. Second Dam, she was pretty good going longer. He kind of looks like a horse that might want to go a touch longer than this. Good looking. I love the way he's put together. But Tommy's not one to win first time out, and he's just pretty green acting and just probably about 80% fit. He's going to get there eventually, as the 1A is Positive Impact, son of Hard Spun for Kieran McLaughlin. The second Dam actually was a very good 2-year-old. She was 4th, I think, in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, going back a ways. So there's some precocity with this family at least. And actually, for Kieran, this horse does look very fit to me. Very well defined, has been very mature acting. Kieran's horses can go either way. Sometimes they'll run really well, sometimes they don't. And as Andy has pointed out several times, it doesn't really matter what the board says. But I like this horse a bit as well. So take a look at number 6 in here, 16 tons for Brad Cox. This one in his last workout, or excuse me, 2 works back, was on the training track here at Belmont. He worked with an older horse by the name 6%, an okay New York bred, but still older, and really held his own quite nicely around the outside of him. Not a bad looking type, as he's really fit in here. And guys, I'm actually going to throw in the 5 because I want to mention him for trainer Mark Hennig. That's Bourbon Rising, as they paid $150,000 for this horse after he worked 21 and 4. And while a lot of these pedigrees kind of suggest maybe longer is better, this one actually does have a sprinting pedigree, and 2 is built like a sprinter, and Mark's horses always look very fit. So I'm just wondering how he's going to perform here in the face of some horses that might want to go a bit further than him, as we have riders up here in the paddock, an interesting group of 2-year-olds going postward for race number 6. Stay tuned. We'll have more on the backside of this commercial here on America's Day at the Races.
I'm a firm believer you don't put the saddle on the pedigree. I bought him strictly because of his physique, his conformation. And then when you looked at the pedigree, it was the perfect blend. Run Happy was an incredible racehorse, being supported by Airdrie Stud, who raises an incredible animal. To breed one of their best mares to him speaks volumes. It ended up producing an incredible result in this horse, and we just hope he runs to his looks and his pedigree.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're gonna go traveling.
Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Long's got a turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
The dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Welcome to America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, and those just joining us on MSG+. Great to have you with us on this Saturday afternoon. Our show brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. We have 2 graded stakes races on the card here at Belmont today, and we have Kofefe, Grade 1 test winner and one of the best 3-year-old filly sprinters in the country, if not the best, back in action in the Dogwood today in Louisville.
Yeah, no, a lot of good 3-year-olds in action today, right? Between the Cotillion at Parks, but also Kofefe running, and a lot of races, including our Kelso, which will likely have some Breeders' Cup implications.
Noble, Damsel, Kelso, our 2 graded stakes here at Belmont today. So you saw our race schedule and what lies ahead this afternoon. Right now, it's the start of an Empire 6. 6 furlongs, maiden special weight, and Candy Tycoon. Word was out that this was not just a heavy favorite and a horse to beat first time out for Todd Pletcher. This was one of the best 2-year-olds in his barn.
Todd usually runs about 10 best 2-year-olds in his barn at Saratoga. True. You know, it seems like. But this one was unlucky in his debut. There is an argument he could have won with a fair trip. He got badly compromised.
Spycraft, son of Discreet Cat, went by for Tom Albertrani, and here's Positive Impact.
I think Spycraft might be the one of this entry that's taking the money right now and has more of a pedigree. Positive Impact is probably a turf horse.
Ozzer, Chad Brown, Chadwell Stable gets the rail.
The Dam was a very good runner for Rick Dutcher on the dirt. She's had one okay foal.
Phil Gleaves sends out Stop Asking 24-1.
A homebred for Phil Gleaves, who used to be the exercise rider of Devil's Bag.
Blinkers coming off, start number 2 after being beat at odds on at Saratoga.
Yeah, looking for a clean break. Unlike the debut, Blinkers come off.
Bourbon Rising. Maggie was talking about the 5 in the paddock, trained by Mark Hennig. This is the one they spent $150,000 on, Bourbon Lane Stable.
A second foal from this dam, but is sired by Uncle Mo. The first foal did no running.
And 16 tons, first-timer for Brad Cox, son of Bodemeister.
A half to Sipicon Harbor, who won our Grade 1 Spinaway last year. One of 5 foals from this dam, who was a decent runner.
For Gary Contessa, right?
Yeah. Ran one more time and then was retired.
Summer Fling, celebrate the end of summer with the final Summer Fling $25 bonus from Naira Bet. Just bet $50 on each card at Belmont, Woodbine, Laurel, and Churchill, and you get a $25 bonus. Win or lose, get rewarded for playing the best racing across the country. Go to NairaBets.com for more details.
Did you know that it officially becomes fall like 2:30 or something, or 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday into Monday?
Did not know
My
that.
coworker Anthony Stabile shared that information. He's up on his solstices. Solstice.
1 to 5 on this runner right here. So Candy Tycoon, John Velasquez, Todd Pletcher. Try number 2. Will it be a little bit smoother trip here coming up?
Can't be worse. This horse actually causes his own problems, because you see he comes in and he slams into the horse inside of him, and it really took him out of the race. You see him back towards last, and this horse, once you get in that position as a field tightens up and they weren't going that fast up front, just got shuffled back repeatedly and ended up in bad position. Jose Ortiz is very good at sitting chilly and not overreacting to trouble. He never panicked. He realized he was in a position where he probably wasn't going to win, but he wasn't going to help this horse by giving him a worse experience, and ends up finishing a very promising third. And considering the trouble, I think he ran fine. Now, maybe nobody in this field can run, and I think he is a relatively likely winner, but 1 to 5? You think he got knocked over in that race and lost by a head?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Start number 2. We're going to check in as we are approaching the 2-minute mark to post with the MIG, Richard Migliori. MIG, your thoughts here on this 6th race?
Thanks, Greg. And my first thought is just what an absolutely spectacular day it is to be at Belmont Park. We are very lucky individuals that we get to cover this great racing. Now let's talk horses. And the first horse that really caught my eye, the first-time starter from the Mark Hennig barn, number 5, Bourbon Rising. Gosh, this horse just made a super impression. When he left the pony under Rajiv Mirage, the first thing I thought, for a horse that's pretty good sized, how light on his feet he was. And that generally translates to a horse being an athlete. Now, he is a first-time starter. You hope he gets away cleanly and he gets a chance to show his ability. Much like Candy Tycoon, first time out, he didn't get off very clean and had trouble, albeit some of it he caused himself. But the 5-horse Bourbon Rising, he ticks all the boxes for me. A big horse that looks light on his feet, carries himself with that typical Uncle Mo stride. He really kind of stamps his horses. They run with their heads out and down, cover a lot of ground, and I'm just taken with the 5 Bourbon Rising. Your favorite, the 4 Candy Tycoon, deserving favorite. I don't know about 2 to 5. Left the pony. Took a little while to pick up the bit. Johnny Velasquez really kind of had to get him to warm up a little bit before he started really getting on the bridle and taking a hold. You don't want to see a horse rank, but you also want to see them with that enthusiasm. And finally, as he got to the backstretch, he picked up the bridle, started taking a good hold of the bit, and made a nicer impression. There's nothing to knock here. He didn't wow me, but he certainly didn't do anything that would talk me off of him or talk somebody else off him, if you will. I still do like the 5 Bourbon Rising. The 6, 16 tons, Kendrick Carmouche for Brad Cox also left the pony. Got that good warm-up that you guys know I like. I enjoy seeing young horses in particular. You want to get their minds in the right place. This horse is really very settled. Got a good warm-up, walking to the gate now, very composed. You know, a lot of horses have ability, but their mental capacity kind of stops them from realizing their full potential. Well, this horse seems like he's got a good mind to go along with a great physical foundation from what I'm seeing on the racetrack. It'll be interesting, guys. Always good racing here at Belmont Park.
MIG, thanks. Getting set for a load here in a moment. We had a Chad Brown runner the other day who was very highly regarded, who was a sister to Catalina Cruiser, one of the top handicap horses in the country, had to deal with the rail.
Yeah.
Chad Brown has another youngster here who now has to deal with the rail, who you're looking at.
Is it me or is his 2-year-olds, his firsters, a lot of them seem to be drawing the
They
rail?
do, yeah.
Well, if he's fast, it won't hurt him. Obviously, Candy Tycoon will probably be quicker coming out of the gate today. Maybe there's just no real story on this horse, and it's one of the reasons that the 4 is a short price in the year. But the Dam Amen Hallelujah won over $600,000. It was a very solid dirt and synthetic runner for trainer Rick Dutrow. Has had a few foals. Now, one of them could really run in the dirt, and they paid a lot of money for this one, an Into Mischief, who's really one of the hottest sires in the game. So I won't be surprised if he's running. He's taking some nibbles down to 4-1. I have a feeling, though, the 1 Spycraft may be a runner for Tommy Albertine. I'm not saying he's going to win. And if he's a runner, he probably has speed.
Yeah, the dam of Spycraft, half to Kentucky Oaks runner-up. Shook up.
Yeah, and I think
Jose Lizcano will be aboard today.
Yeah, also, I think Sugar Swirl, who's a very good Stronach stable runner that Bobby Frankel had, is a half to the dam of this horse as well. So there is some pedigree, and you don't see a lot of discreet cats, but, you know, this horse could be interesting. I'm not trying to beat the favorite. I feel as though, and we saw this earlier today, the favorites are all over bet. I mean,
today especially.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been happening.
It's like if you're the favorite to win, there's no price that's too low, but that's not the way the game works. And it's really Candy Tycoon 70% to win this race? It seems like an awfully high number. Because, okay, had legit trouble and had a real excuse last time. How good was that race? I don't know that it was that strong a race, and what if one of these firsters can run? You got so many unknown variables in here. It's not like you know that everybody else in here is slow, right? Sort ran a 70 buyer and everybody else runs 50s. Okay, fine. But
field of unknowns, absolutely. And even if they had run, it's still a field of unknowns because 2-year-olds can do so much improving or regression from start to start.
And it's also a lot of good trainers in here. I mean, some of the best trainers in the game are represented in this race. So it's not like you're dealing with a bunch of people that don't win. I picked Candy Tycoon. I'm not betting against, but I would never bet this horse at 2-5.
By the way, it's Kelso Day.
It is.
We got a former winner of the Kelso. Uncle Mo sired the 5, Bourbon Rising. Will it all come together?
118 buyer that day. Beat the very talented Jackson Ben.
Yeah, 133 and 4, I believe.
Uncle Mo. If he had not had health issues, he could have been one of the greats. And he's proving it at stud.
There's the big favorite, Candy Tycoon. Start number 2. He is 1-2 on the board to get it done and graduate and get that maiden win. John Velasquez on board for his main man, Todd Pletcher. We'll see if today's the day. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Here's Larry Colmus.
Bourbon Rising moving into the starting gate next. Gate crew working to get Bourbon Rising to come forward here, who steps up now and goes in. That leaves 16 tons to be the last one to load here. Walks forward and in. They're all in line. They're off, and Osser was very slow to get going. Good beginning by Stop Asking from the inside, but immediately passed by Spycraft, and Spycraft to the front with Candy Tycoon moving up into second position, and they're being followed by Bourbon Rising in third, then it's 16 tons on the outside. Stop Asking is fifth and about 4 lengths ahead of Osser, who just went by Positive Impact at the rear of the field. Past the opening quarter in 22.61, they move into the far turn, where it is Spycraft on the inside, the leader a half a length to Candy Tycoon. 16 tons is just outside of them. They've got 4.5 lengths on Bourbon Rising running in fourth on the far turn. And then it's Osser on the outside, followed by Stop Asking, Positive Impact at the back of the pack. Spycraft turning for home with the rail in the lead here, went 45.71 for the half. 16 tons on the outside, up into second now. And the favorite Candy Tycoon has dropped back to third. Past the 8th pole, and it's Spycraft in front. Spycraft a 2-length lead here. Then 16 tons, followed by Candy Tycoon, and farther out Osser, then Bourbon Rising. Spycraft won it by 4 lengths on the wire. Looked like 16 tons was second in a photo with Candy Tycoon, then Bourbon Rising.
Spycraft, first time out, broke like an absolute rocket out of the gate.
Yeah, well, actually broke a step slow, but then just like rocketed to the front end in here. This was a very, very impressive debut. 110 flat for this horse. I mean, Candy Tycoon was lucky to get third here. 16 tons ran very well for Brad Cox, and this horse can run.
Started to take some pressure, too. As the favorite was there, the 6 looked like he was in prime position. 16 tons to get by, but the 1 found another gear mid-stretch.
No, this was a very impressive victory.
Son of Discreet Cat for Godolphin. This is a talented first-time starter. Graduates in his debut, beating an odds-on favorite, who in the end, by the way, Candy Tycoon went off at 3-5. We'll be back. Prices from the 6 will set up the start of the late pick 5. We'll check back in at Churchill Downs. Their late pick 5 next as well.
Run Happy, you know, he's 16-2, he's a beautiful horse. There's stamina on top and bottom, and he's stamping his horses with that. I think they look big and fast, and like horses that'll go on and run a distance as well as short.
He was a fantastic racehorse, and if he passes on his ability as a racehorse, I think he's a slam dunk to be a great sire. Very athletic looking and beautiful bodied horse as well.
Run Happy, standing at Cleburne Farm.
Coming on strong.
Minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th, opening up a 2-length lead.
My love for you.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing, 1, 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing, 1, 2.
Feel my love for you. Coming on strong.
Piranha, the leader in fly control and wipe and spray products, now has premium equine grooming products. Introducing Aloe Pro Shampoo, an organic concentrate enriched with vitamins A, D, and E, and silk protein. Piranha Detangler, a dry comb-through detangling spray that conditions, moisturizes, keeping tail and mane manageable. And Shine Baby Shine, a water-based coat conditioner that leaves a show ring shine every time. Visit piranhaeat.com to see our full line of equine products, and for a limited time, use promo code NYRA to receive a 10% discount on your order. Piranha on, pests gone.
Back on America's Day at the races, remember this name, Spycraft. First time out for Godolphin. Tom Albertrani, Jose Lezcano, very impressive in the debut.
No, this was a very nice performance by this horse. I don't know, you don't really know what's behind them, but it seems like a very square time for this horse. And I just love the way he, didn't break like that sharp, but he just blew to the lead right after that.
It was unreal.
He was super impressive.
Future book just went down to what?
Well, he's got to get 1.25 miles. He can run, though.
7th is 1 16 that's on the inner turf. Maiden special weight coming up. And the one to beat for Chad Brown, Ballon Rose, daughter of Warfront. This will be start and attempt number 4 to get that maiden win.
I've had enough of this horse, Greg. I mean, yes. Did she run her best race when she got a firm turf course last time? Yes. She has burned way too much money for me to keep taking her. I like Kelly can run.
All right, we'll talk more about this field in a moment. Starts the late pick 5 from New York. We also have the late pick 5 ahead at Churchill Downs. Let's get Frank Lyons' thoughts as they kick off with a 30 maiden claiming event.
Hi guys, so 7 race coming up. Looks like a 2-horse race between the 4 and the 7. The 4 is Sweet Addison, trained by Brendan Walsh. Was favourite in his last 2, even money in a maiden special weight in Indiana, finished 3rd. Then 2 back at Churchill Downs right here against maiden 75. He was favourite and finished 2nd that day. So this is a maiden 30, takes a drop down. Brendan says, she's all right, but you really can't trust her. The 7 then, this one costs $480,000. 3-year-old by Trap Shot out of the Quiet American mare In Truth. That makes her a half-sister to Hard to Copy. Who's Hard to Copy? The very first winner I ever trained in California. So that's Gun Club for Steve Esmussen for the Winchell Stables. Ricardo Santana aboard. This one is the last 2 starts at Ellis Park. She was 5th beaten 7 and 3rd beaten 3. That was at 6.5 furlongs at Ellis. Now she's back to 6 furlongs. She'll show pace. She'll be tough to beat. She looks okay out there. But I think the 9 horse is the sneaky horse. That's 22-1. That's Punish. Second time starter by Cairo Prince for Ron Moquette. Ran in the slop first time out at Oaklawn Park. Had the lead, laying second, then faded. So I think that we'll put the 9 in with the 4 and the 7 to try to upset. Maybe get the win even.
I'm with Frank. I was going to bring up the 9. I thought that horse very intriguing. Speed against Better. Now a big drop down in class. That was at Oaklawn back in April.
That's a funny name for a horse. Punish, right? Is he going to punish you out here? I'm not against the favorite here.
Okay. And it does seem, I mean, it seems to be, it goes through the 4 and the 7 this race.
No,
doubt.
the 9 Punish is interesting. I like that angle. I wish he had been lower than 15-1, right? If I looked and he was like 3-1 in there, I'd go to the window and get punished.
Miguel Mena will be unpunished, should be leading the way early on in here, and first try on a fast track as well for Ron Moquette. Let's send it out to Travis Stone with the call. Start of the late pick 5 from Churchill Downs.
Last one will be Vegan Goes Best. They're in the gate. And they're off. Drop Dead Gorgeous mid-pack out. Well, Neon Light is there. Field Daisy comes on through. Drop Dead Gorgeous splits Rivals and Gun Club. Flashing Speed as well. So up the backstretch they go, and Gun Club comes away with the lead. Punish is now moving up to be second. Neon Light is away third on the outside. Drop Dead Gorgeous racing fourth. Field Daisy down inside is fifth. Vegan Goes Best on the move from 6th. Sweet Addison is 7th. Her Giant is 8th. Paige Lee's in the center of the track running along in 9th. Savvy Spender's down inside 10th. Break it 2 lengths back to Stroll with Becca, who's at the back of the pack with Tropical Drive as they round the far turn. Punish coming after Gun Club. These two head and head. 21 and 3/5 seconds. Swift opening quarter mile. 3 lengths back to Field Daisy back in 3rd. Neon Light is racing in 4th. Vegan Goes Best comes wide for the stretch drive 5th, and then is Drop Dead Gorgeous down inside. Punish comes away with a narrow lead, but they're swarming in now. Here comes Field Daisy on the outside, rallying boldly to the front. Field Daisy has taken over. Drop Dead Gorgeous trying to come on late. So too Sweet Addison and Neon Light, but with 100 yards to go, it's Field Daisy with a 3-length lead at 37-1. Punish was second, Neon Light was third, and Sweet Addison got fourth.
Field Daisy, first time on a dirt track, 37-1 upset.
Yeah, I mean, this horse had to improve from the turf form and synthetic form to the dirt, which she did. She did not have a pedigree that suggested she would, but it didn't matter. She got a good trip, and she jogged. Punish ran very well, though, to be second, 23-1.
Yes, she did.
It's a very good call. Good call by Frank. I mean, because she, looked like she might get swallowed up. She finished a good second here with the whole field coming.
37-1. Meanwhile, to start off the late pick 5, over 23-1. How about that exacta?
Got it for usual 100.
Dogwood still to come. Kofefe later in action in the feature from Churchill Downs. Your Grade 1 test winner. Was that staged or? Wow. How about that with Halloween right around the corner?
Ooh.
I'm actually going to Sleepy Hollow, by the way, for Halloween this year.
All right.
We have 2 graded stakes races on the card this afternoon. Noble Damsel, Kelso out here at Belmont. And our late pick 5 begins in this next race coming up. Of course, those 2 races part of that sequence.
I have a weird opinion in the Kelso. I like Monongahela. Do you think I'm crazy?
I do.
Okay. I thought Monongahela was a little bit interesting, was engaged towards the pace in the Whitney, which we saw collapse. We saw how well Preservationist did, who was on the lead in that race. And I'm hoping in a race that doesn't have a lot of speed that maybe Louis Reyes, they're aggressive for Jason Service from Monongahela. Take a shot.
I've seen him so many times and just kind of plod and be in position to win. Maybe the mile, though, distance will be more to his liking than what he's been doing.
I think he improved when they were aggressive with him 2 back. So I'm hoping they're aggressive again today. Bit of a shot.
Well, we talked about Kofefe. What a performance and a show that she and Sharon Getty Empress, your Kentucky Oaks winner, put on at Saratoga in this stretch duel in the test.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the most enjoyable races of the meet. Obviously, we wish Tom had won, Tom Amos, but this was a great race. It feels like the test is annually one of the best races in Saratoga every summer. It's been some of the best races in my lifetime.
It really does. There's been some tremendous stretch duels in that race over the years. This is a look at the field Kofefe is going to line up against. Before we hand her over the race, that I believe most people are believing it's hers to win by a mile. Take Charge Angel gave her all she could handle, and for Take Charge Angel, that was off the bench. Then she struggled on a sloppy track. Next time she was on a fast track, she won.
I agree. She clearly didn't handle the slop. Obviously, other than that, she's run very well. And Champagne Anyone turning back in distance after running the Alabama and the Coach Club American Oaks. Has she lost her form, or is she just a horse that wants less distance? I think it's the latter.
Well, this is a stopover for Kofefe, hoping to get to this race here. Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint as we take a look at the contenders for that race. And, of course, Come Dancing, probably your favorite for that race right now?
Yeah, obviously depending on tomorrow's Gallant Bloom, but I would agree at this point. I think there are going to be 3-year-olds showing up. I wonder if a horse like Bellafina will cut back for it. I wonder if Tom may run the Serengeti Empress in there. I even wonder if Guarana could cut back in there, because they really want to run in a very tough distaff.
Not with, Midnight Bizu and a late. That would be a spot you may want to avoid. But then you would have to deal with this one here, and she completely blew the break, went 5 wide, rushed up, and it did not matter. She just ran lights out in the Grade 1 Ballerina.
She did, and she, she has her win the distaff's one of the best races we had all year. I don't totally trust her going to the Breeders' Cup, but she shouldn't lose this race.
1 to 5, sort of a chance to pad her stats a bit in this group, right?
On paper, she just sort of can't lose, right?
Although
they don't run them on paper, as you say. They run them on TV sets.
Minute to Stardom is going to be fun to watch come back. I mean, it's a very tough spot, obviously, but she was a big upset winner at Saratoga's meet. We'll see if she can back that up with another win and win her the honorable miss at 20-1.
Can she get ahead of the New York bred Carrera Cat? Carrera Cat is one of the cool stories of the year, right? She's just improved with every start.
That is coming up on Sunday. That will be early on in the card, race 3, the Grade 2 Gallant Bloom. Right now, first leg of this late pick 5 here at Belmont, and that is Ballon Rose, 9 to 5. Javier Castellano missed by a neck last start, but that was, again, the 3rd opportunity to try and break her maiden.
She did run well, and she was best last time. The winner got this sensational ride by Irad Ortiz coming up the fence to get the win and just beat her, and she was 3 wide around the track, so I'm not going to knock her effort there. And I think there is an argument that finally getting to firm turf, she ran her best race. But this was a $1.6 million yearling purchase that was touted as a 2-year-old to be not better than newspaper record, but clearly the 2nd best in Chad Brown's barn. Races being run off the turf, etc., kept her from running, and she's been a massive disappointment. Even if you take her 2nd place finish last time, it's not like it was that fast a race, and I'm just sick of her. I think that Kelly can run as a better horse.
$1.6 million for Ballon Rose at auction. As you take a look at Kelly Can Run, Barclay Tag, this will be just the 2nd time on turf.
It's frustrating for me because I bet her last time at 37-1 and thought I had the race won and got a sensational ride by Junior Alvarado. But she lost to a first-time starter from Chad Brown, Magic Star, that looks like a stakes horse. I mean, this horse explodes out of the pack. You see her in those sort of orange silks that blows by her. Her 2nd place finish, 2 lengths ahead of the field, is better than any race that Ballon Rose has ever run. And I think it's the Chad Brown factor and the purchase price. I think Kelly Can Run is supposed to be favored in here.
Let's head downstairs, check in with Richard Migliori.
Yeah, guys, interesting group of young horses here in the paddock. And we'll start out with a first-time starter from the Chad Brown barn, the 8, Shelter Island. She's been very vocal in the paddock. She's got a great look to her. Looks very fit, and she's got that very European look to her. She is by an Irish-bred stallion out of an Irish-bred mare, and I was really taken with her. Very light on her feet, kind of a lithe way of going, almost cat-like. She kept on calling out, or I should say the 4-horse, Perfect You, kept calling out whinnying, and the 8-horse would answer her, and they were the only 2 in the paddock whinnying back and forth, almost as if they'd known each other from someplace, but they certainly were taking comfort with each other as far as both being first-time starters. But the 4 Perfect View also made a nice impression here, looked very fit for trainer Jorge Abreu, and I like what I'm seeing from her. Joe Bravo won a race on the grass earlier today, and he rides his first-time starter who looks very well matched. She's got the pony in front of her now. She's standing good. Looks like she is a little bit on the excitable side. Another first-time starter, the 9 in front, a war front filly. Shug McGahee, the trainer, not a trainer that cranks him up for first time, but certainly capable of winning with first-time starters. And really another one making a great impression, got that typical kind of war front look to her, and we all know what a hot sire war front is. So pretty interesting group of young horses. I focused in on the first-time starters. Obviously, there's a few horses that have run that are going to take a lot of attention, but I thought those were the most intriguing firsters. And just watching them now, everybody's acting pretty well behaved, and that's what you want to see from young horses, particularly maidens, going a mile and a 16th here on the inner turf for the first time. So, guys, we'll be back right after this with a post parade for race 7 maidens coming up on the turf.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
A dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures. And there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guys win in the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part each and every day by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well, as we want to welcome you back on a glorious Saturday afternoon to glorious Belmont Park, as we are being attacked by bees here. Luckily, I'm not scared. Andy Serling, he's a little scared.
All right,
of this.
it's right on your head there, Miss I'm Not Scared. You're doing nothing but causing problems since you got up here. Things were really calm for the last hour and a half. You got me moving TVs around. You don't know what race it is. You're a mess.
Well, I got excited about parks. Look, they're off in that mile race. You know, that one that Cole fronted.
Maggie's going to narrate the Parks race for you.
All right, well, we are moments away from today's race at Belmont here, which is the 7th. 8 minutes to go as they are making their way to the track for this maiden special weight for the older fillies and mares. And as I mentioned, Parks, we will have that cross-country pick 5, which kicks off with the next race down at Parks Racing Casino with the Gallant Bob, followed by the Cotillion, and then the Sweet Briar, which is race number 9, 2, I should say. 2. Can't forget that. Not TWO. Race number 9 at Woodbine. Back for the Pennsylvania Derby at Parks, and then we'll cap things off with the Kelso Handicap, Grade 2 here, race number 10 at Belmont Park.
You know what I want to talk about in this race is Shelter Island.
I do too.
It's a $300,000 purchase, I think, in a French sale for Peter Brandt. Motor Peter Brandt's here, of course, significant for him as well in the next race, or in the Noble Damsel. This horse is not getting really bet.
No, 9-2 is a pretty big price on a Chad Brown first-time starter that does have pedigree. Yep. I mean, I'm not that familiar with the sire Le Havre, but is a half to Vue Fantastique, who won the Group 1 Prix de Sichet.
CK. Oh, that's right. Okay, I got you.
Let me fix your wire hair too, buddy.
I'm a mess. I'm a mess too.
Yeah,
I'm
rubbing
fine
off
until
on
you got up here.
All right, we'll start things off though with this 7th race post parade. Number 1, Silver Kitten. Danny Gargan ships this one up from Churchill. Gets Mike Luzzy aboard.
Yielding turf last time out. 2 starts back, ran well enough to be competitive here when just getting nailed at the wire by the hard-closing Hungry Kitten.
Nearly 40-1 last time, 9-5 on Kelly Can Run.
Yeah, I bet her last time. She ran a winning race. She runs back to it. I think she's going to be a handful.
Still did not like the main track, so she gets back to the turf for her 3rd try on it for Belmont.
Yeah, she really hasn't run well. This is first time on a firm turf going shorter.
Perfect View is one of 3 first-time starters. This one going out for Jorge Abreu, a daughter of Arch.
I don't know about you. I was not impressed by the 10 3/5 2-year-old sales workout a year ago.
See, I think they're null and void once they're passed too. But
and a turf
anyway,
router as well.
Yeah. Number 5 is Sweet Timing, coming off of a long layoff here for Jimmy Toner.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy's horses often need a race off a layoff, and this one would have to improve off her 3 races.
Now, Ballon Rose, she's been a bit of a money burner thus far, the $1.6 million daughter of Warfront.
Burned her owner's money for 1.6, and she's burned some bettors' money. She can win, but I think she's been a massive disappointment.
Shelter Island, Johnny V jumps aboard this one for Chad Brown.
Not much money coming in. I would prefer this one to Ballon Rose just because I'm not a big fan of Ballon Rose.
Now, in front is a first-time starter for Shug McGahee, a daughter of Warfront, and the dam actually have to Magician.
Yeah, there's pedigree in that family. That's a Coolmore family. Shug's horses will often need a race or two to get fit, but there's pedigree, especially to handle the turf, and you got to like the Warfronts.
Yeah, you can't help but not like them. As we'll check back in at Churchill Downs, we saw a huge upset. The trifecta was huge in the 7th race at Churchill, but let's move ahead, turn the page to race 8. It is an interesting optional allowance as we'll check in with Frank Lyons.
Thank you, Maggie. Yeah, this is a 2-other down worth 100,000, 99,000, almost 100,000. It's amazing. Not the best of horses in here. And I think before I take a look at them, a guy that's in good form this week is Brian Lynch. He's had 3 winners this week. And he sends out the 4. And you can see him getting the saddle on right now. There's Brian putting the tack on. He got a full crowd of people in there with the 4 High Promise, owned by Sue and Jim Hill. This one, ridden by Julian Leperoux today, makes his debut at Churchill Downs on the grass. He's 2 for 12 lifetime with 2 seconds and 3/3. He was 5th, beating a length and 3/4 last time out behind a real old tough horse called Unapologetic. That was all the way over on the west coast in Del Mar. Also then the 6 Renaissance Frolic. This horse is a very consistent horse. He's right there nearly every time. Corey Lannery's been aboard him in his last 2 starts. Probably a leading rider at Churchill, I'm not quite sure, but Corey Lannery finds himself aboard the 8 who's getting play. That's Go Away. He's a 3-year-old going against Elders. There's 2 3-year-olds in here. There's also on the outside this Louder Than Bombs. Is also by Violence. He's a 3-year-old. Has pretty good stakes form, but drops down into this 2-other down. But now takes on Elders. Also, then the 2 is an interesting horse. The 2 has had 3 starts on grass, 2 wins and a 3rd. That's Bema's Boy. Comes off a 6 3/4 length win at Saratoga, going 1.16 miles. Now he's trained by Mike Maker, who claimed him 3 starts back. And how often have we seen Mike Maker take these old horses, move up the ladder and win? But on form, to me, it's the 4 and the 6 and a 2.
All right, Frank. Well, thank you. As this is an interesting race, Andy, that we have assembled here. Now, do you fall for Bema's Boy, who is coming back off the back of a blowout win at Saratoga, but that wasn't a conditional claimer?
No, I think he beat inferior horses last time, and I think he's dressed up by the fact that he was beating up on absolutely nobody. But at least we figured out that Louder Than Bomb's a movie. I want to say Gabriel Byrne.
Oh, it's that one. It's that kid.
Not Christian Bale?
No,
Burns.
it's the
Gabriel
kid.
Byrne. Yeah, but I think Gabriel Byrne's there.
Is that Gabriel Burns?
No.
That looks like the guy
Gabriel
from...
Byrne plays the father.
That looks like the guy from Facebook.
It's filmed in Westchester. Isabelle Huppert.
All right. Well, you know more about movies than I do. I'm going to leave that to you. We see horses on the track with 2 minutes to go to race 7 here at Belmont Park. And we are checking out number 2, Kelly Can Run. She has been taking a lot of the early play. She moved up considerably, Andy, on her first try at turf up at Saratoga.
Yeah, and she had a good trip that day, but it was a race that completely fell apart, and she wasn't that far off the pace. This is just a horse that improved dramatically on the turf, and I think listen, she's 2-1. It's not like she's not getting play in here. I think she's supposed to be a short price near. She ran very well that day. She has a misfortune of running into a Chad Brown firster. We have not seen Magic Star since, but was very good.
It was still late in Saratoga. There's every chance she could show back up soon here.
Yeah, that's true. Hasn't even a month.
Again, they're falling for Ballon Rose.
Let me say one thing. I don't like her. Le Havre, the sire of Shelter Island, is the sire of Rimska.
Ah, yes. I know I've seen it before. As Mig, we want to know, are you falling for Ballon Rose, or are you more interested in the other Chad Brown horse, the first-time starter?
Well, Maggie, I'm definitely more interested in the other Chad Brown. I've fallen in love with the 8 Shelter Island. I think she's elegant. She's light on her feet. She's got a big, long stride to her. She's my kind of horse. Everybody has their idea of what they think a horse should look like. Well, she really ticks the boxes for me. I really like what I'm seeing from the 8 Shelter Island. The first-time starter, I was a little bit intrigued with the 9 in front by Warfront, Shug McGahee. You know, she looks very fit, but she almost looked a little bit unsure of herself galloping off of the pony. Like, she'll probably need a race to really let the light bulb go on. From a mental standpoint, physically she couldn't look any better, but I think mentally she might just be in for a little bit of a surprise here. I don't like outside posts, particularly on the inner turf, and the 2 horses I gravitated to have the 2 outside posts, 8 and 9. And as far as movies goes, guys, unless it's like Casey's Shadow, Seabiscuit, and the best racing movie of all time, Boots Malone, I don't know anything about what you guys were talking about.
Well,
where Richie lives.
Well, he's a little north of there. He's a little more country than Westchester. Mick, I got to agree with you with Casey's Shadow. I think that's the best horse racing movie of all time. Have you seen that, Andy?
No. I saw the Killing. The racetrack robbery, the Kubrick movie. It's not highbrow enough for me. I'm very pretentious, Maggie.
Yeah, that you are. Gosh, Casey Shadow, good low down Louisiana. And
Walter Matthau. Walter Matthau.
Yeah, based upon Randy Romero's life.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yep. His father, yeah.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Exactly. Well, they're loading in the gate here as we see 3-2 on Ballon Rose. They can't get enough of this $1.6 million daughter of Warfront. Will today be the day? Andy and I are saying no. I think there's some interesting first-time starters in here towards the outside. And even, you know what? TT's horse, Jorge Abreu's horse. The second dam, Visions of Clarity. Who's she the dam of?
John
Running
Ward
today. Running today.
Oh, no. Who?
War of Will.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I boxed 2-8.
All right. Well, they're loading in line as we'll check in upstairs with Belmont track announcer Larry Colmus.
Just a couple left to go into the starting gate now. Shelter Island and in front will be the last 2 to load here. They're all in line. They're off. And taking up at the start was Sweet Timing. It's a good beginning for Silver Kitten, who goes out to the front with Estel. And on their outside, Shelter Island's in the early mix too. And now grab second as they make their way around that turn. Then it's Perfect View in front is going up on the outside. Break of another 2.5 to Ballon Rose racing outside of Kelly Can Run. And the trailer is Sweet Timing. So onto the backstretch and through an opening quarter mile in 24.51 seconds. It's Estel the leader. 3/4 of a length over Shelter Island in second. In front is in third. On the outside of Silver Kitten. And Perfect View is in behind them running in fifth. Ballon Rose is sixth on the outside. 4 lengths from the front. And then Kelly Can Run. And Sweet Timing is last. So they're continuing their run up the backstretch. And 38-1 shot Estel is the pacemaker. 49.52 was a tepid half mile. Shelter Island is second as they race for the far turn. And then it is Silver Kitten on the inside of in front. And between those two, Perfect View is fifth. Ballon Rose is going up 4 wide from sixth. And it's 2.5 more to Kelly Can Run. Sweet Timing is the trailer as they round the far turn. Estel, Shelter Island on the outside. In front in Balloon Rose moving 4 wide on the turn. Then Perfect View and a ground-saving trip for Silver Kitten. 3/4, 114.11. They're into the stretch. Estel still there. Shelter Island, Balloon Rose is closing on the outside. In front is in the fight between horses. And farther out comes Kelly Can Run in 5th as they come down to the final 16th. Shelter Island and Balloon Rose. The Chad Brown trainees 1-2, and Shelter Island's going to do it. Shelter Island beats Balloon Rose on the wire. Kelly Can Run looked like she got 3rd from in front.
Well, she did not disappoint in her debut. And Andy, as we were saying, a surprising amount of speed from number 8, Shelter Island, in her debut for Peter Brandt and Chad Brown. And she had enough stamina in the end. She was quite impressive.
I agree. It kind of looked like she might not have any horses. They were turning for home and sitting obviously on a slow pace. But when they came for home, she just ground out the victory. Melrose ran fine. It was a very slow pace, which did not help Kelly Can Run. I'm not sure why she was so far back after being closer to a fast pace in her debut. Took her too far back. She couldn't close into it. Ballad Rose ran well to be second, but even money again on Ballad Rose. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous.
Yeah, it's jokies. As Johnny V aboard for Chad Brown, we don't see this often, but when they team up, they tend to have a lot of success together.
They do, and he's been riding a lot of Peter Brandt's horses,
Right.
obviously, and has significant form for Peter Brandt's wife in the next race.
Yeah, the Noble Damsel, which we'll see if Johnny V can tie Jerry Bailey's all-time record of number of graded stakes wins. He's sitting at 659. Stay tuned. We have a lot more graded stakes action here on the show at America's Day at the Races.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Soft got a turn with a length and a half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
A dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Welcome back, guys. We're at the 8th race at Churchill Downs. 2 other than 99,000. Now that I've looked at these horses in the paddock, I've completely changed my mind. And I've gone to the 8, Go Away. This horse looks great. Doesn't really look like a 3-year-old, looks like an older horse. Corey Lannery is aboard. Corey Lannery was aboard the 6 horse, Renaissance Frolic, who's got very good form and is second choice on the board at 5-1 right now. The Go Away was 8-1 on the morning line, has been bet down to 6-1 right now. This horse has won 2 of 3 over the grass surface, and then third on his other try. His 2 wins have been at Tampa and then at Ellis Park, first time out. Then on a soft turf course at Keeneland in the second start, he finished second to a Kitten's Joy called Faraway Kitten. So I think that the 8 horse is going to step up. He's been off since like March, since Tampa. Then the 4, High Promise, Julian Leperoux aboard for the first time for Brian Lynch. Makes his debut today at Churchill, like I said. Horse looked very well in the paddock. I'll pick him for second. Then the 2-horse Belmont's Boy, he's been bet down to favourite. 5-1 on the morning line. He's currently at 3-1. This horse is, like I said, a typical Mike Maker type of turf horse who's getting better and better. Jose Luis Ortiz was aboard last time out for a win by 6 3/4 at Saratoga. Miggy Mann is aboard today. He's been bet to favoritism, but I'll go with the 8. All right, Maggie?
All right, Frank, taking one of the 3-year-olds in that group against a tough older field, as we'll check in with Richard Migliori. He's standing by with Hall of Fame rider John Velasquez, winner aboard Shelter Island.
Thanks, Maggie, and we'll talk about some bigger things. But first, this race, Shelter Island, she looked a bit keen early on, like she really took a good hold, Johnny.
She was, man, and I'll tell you what, in the season told me, make sure I don't get away from the pony because she's pretty strong. And thank God we kept her with the pony, and she was quiet. I mean, she was so nice with the pony, and you never know she's going to be a scheme like that. When she broke out of the gate, she went to the bridle right away. And all I do is just kind of sit against her, and hopefully I didn't choke it down, but she still run well.
And she seemed like she had an answer, though. She was very game when she was challenged.
Yeah, like I said, you know, I was worried about because I had a really tough hold on her, and hopefully when I let her go, you know, thought that maybe she will go on. It took a little bit to get going, but once she got her momentum going, she switched down the lane, she started running again.
Now, Johnny, you're on the cusp of history. You're right on top of the record set by Jerry Bailey, number of graded stake wins. You've got significant form coming up now for Chad Brown, and then Prince Lucky later on for Todd Pletcher. What does it feel like coming up on a major milestone like that?
Richard, you know me, I don't go for those things. I try to concentrate on the races, and the number comes afterwards, and I mean, you get rewarded by doing a good job. You try to concentrate and doing the best job you can, and hopefully the horses respond for you. And that's where I look at it. One day I look back and I said I had a great career and I accomplished something, but right now I just concentrate and try to win races.
Well, that's why you're as good as you are. Guys, here he is, a Hall of Famer, done just about everything there is to do, and he's not worrying about what's coming. He's just doing his job professionally like he always does. And also, for people that don't know, not only is he a Hall of Fame rider, Hall of Fame person, always involved, trying for the good causes. Johnny, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Maggie?
Mig, yes. I'm lucky enough to know that fact, that's for sure. But I'm not enviable of Mig, Andy, as I can't stand asking Johnny number questions.
Yeah,
because you can tell he just doesn't like to be asked it.
I'm not surprised because I think John Velasquez is very comfortable with how his career went.
Correct.
And whether he has a record and wins more races than Jerry Bailey or something, he knows that Jerry Bailey's one of the greatest riders of all time, and Johnny's going to be remembered as one of the greatest riders of all time, and that's what matters.
Absolutely, and I'm just pleased we have him riding day in and day out here in New York, because he's so much fun to watch and just be around as we're checking out the field here for today's next race. It's the Grade 3 Noble Damsel as significant form. She's going to look to go and secure Chad Brown with back-to-back victory. She is much the horse to beat here.
I agree. I think that one of two things will happen. I think unless valedictorian will wire the field, or significant form will just beat her. I think that significant form is going to win because she's not going to be compromised. She's going to be in all likelihood sitting second here with John. And I know he gave her a great ride, the Boston Spa, but I actually think a mile and a 16th around 2 turns is stretching it for her. I really think 7 furlongs to a mile is what she does best. If you look at her career, the reality is she's lost a lot of races while not running badly that were the wrong races for her. The right races to run in, you have to point to the $7.75 million Belmont Oaks last year. She doesn't want a mile and a 8. She doesn't want a mile and a quarter. These 1-turn mile races is what she was born to do.
Yeah, I've always thought that too, and it's fun to see her get to play those out this year as a 4-year-old as they're loading in the gate here for Churchill's Race 8. It is the feature before the feature, if you will. Both of you and I a bit interested in number 1, Cape Angel for Joe Sharp.
I agree. We don't agree with Frank's pick, but we wish him luck with Go Away. Cape Angel cutting back in distance. I think that's going to help out his chances quite a bit.
This one for Joe Sharp, who was beaten last time by stablemate Midnight Tea Time. Came back to win at Kentucky Downs with a 91 in his next start. Let's see what Cape Angel can do from the rail with Adam Beschizza aboard as we throw it out to Travis Stone of the called Churchill Downs, race number 8.
They're in the gate. And they're off. And completely missing the break was Bema's Boy. 10, maybe 15 lengths behind the rest of the field. Renaissance Frolic breaks out well. High Promise toward the inside is up close too. He's Cheeky over to the inside to save ground of the clubhouse turn. Louder Than Bombs for the outside post. Angles over to the 2-path or so. Onto the line for the first time. Renaissance Frolic and High Promise share the lead together. High Promise over to the inside to set the pace. Renaissance Frolic, mild pressure. He's Cheeky just in behind, running along in third. Louder Than Bombs is fourth by 3. Hanovi comes away fifth, and on the inside of Go Away, who's now sixth. Cape Angel is seventh. El Benito is running along in eighth. County Court is ninth, and it's still 10 lengths back to Bema's Boy, who's about 20, maybe 25 off the leaders after that disastrous start. The pace is slow. 25 seconds for the opening quarter, 49 seconds for the opening half. High Promise to leader down the backstretch. Renaissance Frolic kept well off the rail, second on the outside. He's Cheeky, continues to work out a good trip so far. Third and down inside for the far turn. Louder Than Bombs is asked to pick it up just a bit, racing fourth, circling up with a wide bid. Farther back, it is Hanovi down inside. Go Away is also right there, pushed on while in between horses. Cape Angel's wide on the course. Then it's County Court. The rest have to get going. The field, it's the top of the stretch. High Promise in a sprint for home. Trying to hang in there. Renaissance Frolic comes on. Renaissance Frolic is now in front. High Promise is back into second. Louder Than Bombs. He's Cheeky. Everybody else, 1 furlong to go. Renaissance Frolic and a pesky High Promise. High Promise is not done yet. Renaissance Frolic still in front. High Promise re-rallying boldly down inside. These two, photo finish. Heads up and down on the wire. A game High Promise or Renaissance Frolic. Farther back, Hanovi.
Well, Andy, I'm going to go with the inside runner, number 4, High Promise, who was able to set a fairly slow fractions. Kind of a weird race in that you look at the field, they're spread out down the backside, but then you look at the fractions, and while they sped it up in the middle quarter, they're kind of on the slower side. High Promise, though, this is the second time he's done this when he's been headed in the lane.
Yeah, he was able to come back, and you pointed out, back at Belmont on a yielding course last September. And, of course, Bema's Boy, the race was over before it began. He basically dwelt at the start, lost all chance whatsoever. I suppose they'll look at it, but we can't tell if anything happened at the gate. Pace was slow. The speeds ran 1-2. You would thought, looking at it, that High Promise was using this race to prep for a longer distance race in his next start, probably at Keeneland. But sometimes they're using them as preps. Doesn't mean they don't think they can win. And Frank did point out that Brian Lynch has been very hot.
Yes, he is. And it's good to see Lynchy get firing back up because he's a great trainer and has had a bit of a trying year, but sources at Churchill running very well. He had his head turned. I think the starter let him go in regards to number 2, Bema's Boy. And then he just kind of leapt up, and Julian Leproux just not persevering with him.
He wasn't winning anyway with that slow pace.
Nope, that's for sure. When you're 20 back and they're going 25 to the first quarter, it's not usually a good sign. As I doubt, Andy, that will happen as we head towards our noble Damsel. No, then again, you never know around here. But it is our co-feature with the Grade 2 Kelso. We see significant form as she is your current 8-5 favorite, the Gray Filly by Creative Cause. Same connections, I should say. Peter Brandt's wife, Stephanie Seymour Brandt, will be teaming up with her as we'll take a look at the Boston Spa last time out. I want to say this is one of her best performances ever.
It was, and John Velasquez gave her a sensational ride in this race to win in a blanket finish. If you look at her career, she had a very good 2-year-old year. She wasn't going to beat Rushing Falls in the Breeders' Cup. There's an argument she was second best that day. She didn't have the best of trips, moving early and moving wide. Impressive start to her 3-year-old year, but then they're running her 1.1 miles, a 1.25 miles. She gets a soft course, and they just really weren't the right races for her. You had to run in those spots given the money and the prestige, but that's not what she was born to do. She was born to go a flat mile. So they started her at 7 furlongs. She runs extremely well in her 4-year-old debut. It's not a 5.5 furlong horse. There's a slow pace anyway. And then last time out, in a tough competitive field, 1.16 miles, she gets the job done, the great ride. I think these one-turn miles, and I got to think that Chad Brown is thinking, could she be good enough to head out and try to win his 3rd straight matriarch at Del Mar?
Yeah, that he could be thinking. And Andy, just to jump back to Churchill, it's a good thing that Paul LaDuca is coming on set because we need him to call these photos as Renaissance Frolic got the nod over number 4 High Promise, but there's an objection regarding these two horses.
Is it the objection of these two, or is it an inquiry because the horse the start? I think the inquiry is whether or not the 2 should be declared a non-starter. I
yeah,
don't
but
know
how's
if that's
the 4
the
and the
case.
6? Oh, okay. I think
They're
they're
not
just
showing an
flashing the
inquiry,
wrong
and now they're
thing.
showing the start. So my guess is that the inquiry involves the fact that the 2 dwelt.
Yeah, at
and not
first
the
they
4
wanted
and
to
6.
flash 6 and 4, but I don't think it involves them whatsoever. As Renaissance Frolic, what are they doing? Now they're still flashing red with the 6 and 4.
Oh, you're right. They are. They
I
are.
don't
But they keep
know.
showing the start.
The start.
Well,
So there's a lot of confusion going on.
I'm
in
sure
regards
Frank
to
Lyons could clear it up for us.
We'll be checking back in with him, don't you worry. As the next race coming up, it is a optional allowance for the 2-year-old filly, 6 furlongs, but a lot of drama going on in regards to race number 8 at Churchill Downs. As getting back to today's Noble Damsel here at Belmont Park, as you pointed out, valedictorian, is the likely pace setter from the outside, as she has crisscrossed this country for Kelly Breen and just kind of brings her race with her wherever she goes.
No, I agree. I mean, she was compromised 3 back at Churchill by a pace that collapsed. Thought she ran well against Leicester in the Eatontown 2 back. And listen, lone speed is a very, very dangerous thing. And lone speed and talent is even more dangerous. And I think valedictorian is the biggest threat to the favorite.
That will have, she'll have Joe Bravo aboard actually for the first time, I believe, in her career, as it will be a square off between her and significant form Capla Temptress, though, for trainer Bill Mott. Give any look to her at all? Is she one that could kind of get back in form here? I know she may have not been facing the best, but then again, she ran against Get Stormy last time.
I don't think she's impossible. I don't think that Stella de Camelot is impossible. I just think they'd be slight upsetters in this race. It's a better price. I've never loved Capla Temptress, to be honest with you, and I think if significant form runs a race, she's just better, but she's not impossible.
No, she's not. As Bill Mott will look for his second win on the card. And boy, he had a very impressive debut winner back in race number 4 with Tiesto. First time out on the turf, mount a 16 2-year-old.
No, we saw 2 very terrific 2-year-olds. One on the turf, one on the turf today. Some good races.
Yeah, it's a great card here at Belmont Park as well as at Churchill Downs. As we'll bring you what drama unfolds there with that close finish and the objection down there at Churchill Downs for their 8th race. But back here at Belmont, Johnny V will look to get his 2nd win in a row, 3rd on the card, and earn 660th graded stakes in the Noble Damsel coming up next on America's Day at the Races.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
You know, I think Run Happy has a lot of things going for him. Obviously, he's been very respected, and to give people further incentive to buy them for where they can take an offspring, run it, and if they win, they're going to get a $100,000 bonus for each Run Happy they have. You know, it's another selling point from our perspective that really helps us promote the horses that we're representing and we're selling.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Piranha, the leader in fly control and wipe and spray products, now has premium equine grooming products. Introducing Aloe Pro Shampoo, an organic concentrate enriched with vitamins A, D, and E, and silk protein. Piranha Detangler, a dry comb-through detangling spray that conditions, moisturizes, keeping tail and mane manageable. And Shine Baby Shine, a water-based coat conditioner that leaves a show ring shine every time. Visit piranhaeat.com to see our full line of equine products, and for a limited time, use promo code NYRA to receive a 10% discount on your order. Piranha on, pests gone.
What could be better than standing 1 Triple Crown winner? Standing 2.
Here comes American Pharaoh. Justified, turning for home in front. And American Pharaoh has Justified. He's unstoppable. The 37-year wait is over. American Pharaoh, Justified, has won the Triple Crown.
Coolmore, America, home of Triple Crown champions.
Want a shot at winning $1 million? Who wouldn't? Here's your chance. The new Stay Lucky app from America's Best Racing. First, you've got to download it. It's available on Android and iPhone. Now that you've got it downloaded, just click on the app and set up your account. Once you're logged in, click on this quick tutorial on how to play. Now, you're just about ready to start picking some winners and building a streak. But before you do, a little help for you from some pros. Each week, the best races in the country are loaded onto Stay Lucky. All you gotta do is click Make a Pick, and you've got a fresh menu of races to sort through. You can pick one horse for as many races as you like. The more you play, the faster your streak will grow. As you start stringing together winners, you'll start racking up prizes. Get to that 20 win mark, you're gonna win $1 million. And with the Stay Lucky app, you're always just a click away from everything that's on americasbestracing.net. So, what are you waiting for? Download it, start picking winners, and stay lucky.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and MSG Plus. It is brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Thank you for spending part of your Saturday afternoon with us. Greg Wolf, Paul LaDuca, Richard Migliori with you. As we go back to Churchill Downs, and there is no change after they took a look at this for a little while.
There was a lot going on here. Jimmy Graham was on the phone. Julian Leperoux was on the phone because they both actually were bumping each other down the lane. I thought it was actually the 4 that caused it, but also Miguel Mena. I don't think I've ever seen this, Megan. Maybe you could elaborate on this. The 2 dwelt at the start, and I think Miguel got on the phone trying to say, hey, I was a non-starter. Maybe the starter held me or whatever, but they declared him a starter and he had a fair start. I bet the 2, and I thought he had a fair start.
I thought he had his opportunity. I think he turned his head. I think he caused his own problems. I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite sure why, and this is coming from a former rider, the stewards talk to the riders about, you know, an objection or an inquiry. What is a rider going to say? Yes, he bumped me. No, I didn't bump him. It's the same thing if a referee throws a flag and says pass interference. Does he ask the receiver, did he hit you before the ball got there? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And I had an advantage because I could smooth talk my way in and out of a lot of things.
Yeah. And I don't think I've ever seen a rider on with the stewards about the start. It's very plain and simple. If the starter, it's reaction. If the starter holds on to the horse head turned, the starter did a good job. So I thought it was a fair start.
Back at Belmont, we have the 8th race coming up. It's a grade 3, Noble Damsel, and a history on the line for that Hall of Fame rider right there, John Velasquez. He is within 1 of equaling Jerry Bailey's record mark for career graded stakes victories, 1 away from 660. He is on significant form. He's coming off a grade 2 win in the Boston Spa.
It's just a remarkable number. And you think about, you know, the company he's keeping, Jerry Bailey, you know, the all-time hit leader in Major League Baseball, Pete Rose. He surpassed Ty Cobb.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the legends of the game, and that's the lofty air that Johnny Velasquez is breathing.
And it's not a matter of if, but when he breaks this record, he can equal it today. Here's Bellavase, Dylan Davis, Todd Pletcher.
And Bellavase took the summer off, shows back up here. She raced against the likes of Rushing Fall and Uni. I'm not seeing those kind of names in here as nice a race as this is.
True. Stella de Camelot, the other Chad Brown runner. She was in the De La Rose, 3rd behind Get Stormy and Capla Temptress.
Yeah, we saw the other Chad Brown runner just win the last race before we came on air. Do not dismiss this one.
Blinkers going on. Betty F. Tom Morley barn. Kendrick Carmouche rides.
A change of barn, change of equipment. First time on the East Coast. She's going to have to show more than she did in her U.S. debut.
Capla Temptress just ran 2nd behind Get Stormy, who off that De La Rose win would set a track record, meet boys in the 4-star Dave.
Yeah, I mean, Got Stormy did jog, but she's been behind Got Stormy, Beau Recall, a lot of nice fillies. The 4s have got a big look in here at 6-1.
There's Johnny V. Can he get number 660 here coming up? On significant form for Chad Brown, coming off a win in the Boston Spa.
A real strong win in the Boston Spa, rating off a slow pace in the pocket, getting it done. Significant form, could be a significant milestone.
And 9-5, slight second choice valedictorian, coming in from the West Coast for Kelly Breen.
The hunch play for Greg Wolf. He was a valedictorian when he was in high school. 12 for 29 lifetime.
7th in my class.
7th? Okay, sorry. Still pretty good, top 10.
Major player, thank you. Noble Damsel victories. These 2 guys have done some damage in this race.
Wow.
Todd Pletcher, last time he won the race, Peace Preserver back in 2013. And of course, Uni got the job done last year for Chad Brown.
It's a pretty good group. 2 pretty good trainers, too.
We'll see what happens in this year's edition. Grade 3, Noble Damsel. It's the start of a late pick 4 coming up, and that is Todd Pletcher's chance to try and win one more. Noble Damsel, first of back-to-back or 2 graded stakes. Coming up, we'll be back.
The Kentucky Derby is a race that we all want to capture. But what he did in the Florida Derby, that got me dreaming.
But inside the 16th pole, the 2017 Florida Derby to Todd Pletcher, and always dreaming. They won it by 4 in the end.
Anytime you ever would go to see him in his breezes or in his races, you knew that he was the real deal. You really would get excited about what he was going to do for the future. I'm Jacob West, and this season, I'm always dreaming.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Off the turn with a link to the half lead. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
Back on America's Day at the Races as we get set for the Grade 3 Noble Damsel. And that is a look at Stella de Camelot. Everyone focusing in on significant form for Chad Brown, but he also has this talented 4-year-old filly in the race who comes out of that De La Rose with Got Stormy and Capla Temptress.
Well, that was a good effort. The race before that lost a significant form at 7 furlongs. Lost on a yielding racetrack, but first time here, liked Belmont. I think that was the key for me.
Certainly ran big here last year in the Pebbles. And we saw earlier in the day, Chad Brown, the second Chad Brown winning the maiden race, Shelter Island getting it done. She was the less fancied one.
Let's get a quick thought from Maggie Wolfendale.
I like her. I like Stella de Camelot. I think significant form is much the horse to beat, but Stella de Camelot, she's third off that layoff. She kind of has now expended a bit more of that energy that she possessed in her debut back here at Belmont of 2019. So she's a little bit more settled, a little bit more even-headed, and I think she looks strong. I like the one-turn mile for her, well, kind of the dog-leg mile, but I think she's very dangerous here, Greg.
Most from that barn are, and as we just saw in a prior race, it was the other Chad Brown who got the win. Let's go to Larry Colmus, Grade 3, Noble Damsel.
They're off in the Noble Damsel. Valedictorian goes out to the early lead. Capla Temptress and Betty F are right behind second and third. Then Bellevay on the inside, significant form. And at the back of the field is Stella de Camelot. Onto the backstretch, and Valedictorian leads the way, opening up to lead by 2. Capla Temptress, significant form, and Betty F are lined up right behind. Then a break of another 2 to Stella de Camelot and Bellevay, who are just 4 lengths off the lead in the run up the backstretch. First quarter up in 23.67 seconds. For Valedictorian, who's on top by 3/4 of a length, Betty F. Sneaking through on the inside into second position. Significant Form is 3 deep. Between those two is Capla Temptress. Bellevay is 5th. And on hold at the back is Stella de Camelot. She's 4 lengths from front-running Valedictorian, who races for the far turn in front. The half mile was 46.78 seconds, a solid tempo as they make their way into the far turn. Betty F. in Significant Form are second and third. Capla Temptress giving way between horses. Stella de Camelot's 3 wide, and Bellevay is on the rail. It is Valedictorian on top as they make their way around the far turn. But here comes Significant Form, and she's moving up alongside as Joe Bravo goes to a drive on front-running Valedictorian. Significant Form ranging up alongside under John Velasquez. Stella de Camelot is coming up on the outside. Furlong to run. Significant Form shaken up on the lead here. And then it's Stella de Camelot who's moved up into second, and Valedictorian is third. A record-tying ride here for John Velasquez, his 660th graded stakes score on Significant Form. Then Stella de Camelot, a photo between Valedictorian and Bellevay.
History made, number 660 career graded stakes wins for the Hall of Famer John Velasquez, equaling Jerry Bailey. Wins for Chad Brown and Stephanie Seymour Brand.
Equals it, got a chance to break it in a little while on Prince Lucky for Todd Pletcher. And Significant Form was very good. She ran just as well as she did last time, got it done. Johnny Velasquez is such a cool customer. He says he doesn't look at these milestones as he's coming to him. He says, I'll look back on them when my career is over. And getting it done for Chad Brown again, another Brandt, not Peter Brandt, Stephanie Seymour Brandt. Yeah. And you know, certainly good connections, people to be hooked up with.
This is a gray, I think, that they've always been waiting on for this. And, you know, when I think Chad gave this horse a little bit of work, a wake up, taking her back to sprinting and now stretching her back out. She loves Belmont, too. Now 3 of her 5 wins here, 6-5. Stopped the clock at 110 flat. And the turf course isn't playing too fast, so I see 133, 110 for the 3/4 and 133 for the final. You can see, look at her ears. She's just happy. You look like she can run around again.
She's gotten bigger and stronger. She's actually filled out. She used to be a slighter made filly. She's really filled out now at the age of 4, soon to turn 5. And sometimes these, you know, fillies and mares just need time to blossom and develop.
She came home fast.
She had lost 4 in a row, and then she came back first start of her 4-year-old campaign, and now she's won 3 graded stakes this year. John Velasquez equaling Jerry Bailey, 660 career graded stakes wins, and he has a lot more in those Hall of Fame hands.
He does, and you know, what he told Maggie was, listen, I'll worry about it because he's nowhere near retirement or thinking about it. So he, like you said, he's still at the top of his game right now, and he could probably ride, I'm knocking on wood, injury-free for 4, 5, 6 more years. God knows what that could go to, 700, 750.
So we're gonna have to throw a flag for piling on as he keeps on adding up these stake scores. You know, we talk about it all the time, though. Johnny Velasquez is not just a tremendous race rider, tremendous human being. You know, is selfless, tireless when it comes to the permanently disabled Jockeys Fund, when it comes to the Jockeys Guild. He really goes out of his way for other people.
3 wins this afternoon, equaling Jerry Bailey with 660 career-graded stakes victories. And Meg, exactly right, a better person than he is a rider, and he is one of the great riders that we have seen in this game. Hall of Famer, huge victory here for him that he'll be able to enjoy and reflect upon one day when he chooses to. I'm sure it means a little something to him, though, right now. He knew where it was. He'll get a chance, as Mick said, to get 661 coming up. We'll be back.
letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures, and there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guy's win of the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Coming on strong. Minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th. Opening up a 2-length lead.
My love for you.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing, 1, 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing, 1, 2.
Feel my love for you coming on strong.
Run Happy was a really nice racehorse. The biggest attribute that I see about him is the way he stamps his foals. You know, they got big, pretty walks on them. They got good hips and shoulders. Very pretty to look at. And, you know, a real strong hind leg. You know, everything that you're looking for as a racehorse. You know, that's what impresses me.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races. The Noble Damsel, it went to your morning line and post-time favorite. That's significant form. And pleased to be joined here by Hall of Fame rider John Velasquez, as yes, he does tie Jerry Bailey's 660 greatest stakes wins, but I'm not going to ask him about that because he doesn't like it. Anyway, I want to talk about significant form. Johnny, your rapport with this filly, you're 2 for 2 with her. She seems to respond very nicely for you.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I guess I got her in a good time, but she's relaxing behind horses. I mean, she was on the outside today, and I was aware that she was going to be a little bit ranked. And she actually relaxed really well. You know, I tried to cover up a little bit around this around the turn. Joe Bravo was staying outside the fence. I was kind of wheeling in and out of there, and I wanted to keep those 2 horses behind him too, so to keep the competition battle up in there. But right before the quarter 4, I just gave her the head and asked her to go, and she went out pretty easy. So it's nice to ride those kind of horses that let you do what you wanted to do, and then when you let them run, they go on and open up just like now. And so thanks to Chad and the owners for the opportunity. So, you know, this is what keeps you coming every day for the races, though. So.
Absolutely. And 2, speak a little bit about riding for Peter Brand. It seems as though you're getting on more of his horses for Chad. I'm sure that's a relationship that goes back a couple years.
That goes a couple of years, but I'll tell you what, the relationship between Angel and Peter, they know each other for so long. And thankfully with the connections, he's actually felt that, you know, that giving me opportunity through Angel, and it has worked out for us. So thank God for that. And riding good horses, that's what keeps coming back.
We love to see you in the winner's circle anyway. Johnny, congratulations here in the Noble Damsel.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, not only was that the 660th Graded Stakes victory for Johnny V, it was also another one in that magic saddle, as we have coined it here on the show, that very old saddle that Angel Cordero, his agent, used to ride in as well.
Maggie, thank you. We talked about that a lot over the past couple of summers at Saratoga, especially as Mig significant form. You see, returns $4.60 for the win.
Yeah, and you know, he alluded to Angel Cordero, his agent, the relationship he had with Peter Brand. Angel rode Weya, who was inducted in Racing's Hall of Fame for Peter Brand. She was inducted this past summer. Gulch, horses like this, Magambo, Just a Game. Great horses from Peter Brand. So Angel Cordero's got a great history, and Johnny's rewriting another chapter.
I appreciate that saddle. I played 17 years in the big leagues. I used 2 catcher's mitts, and I got that thing restrung about 20 times. If something's comfortable, by the end of my career, that catcher's mitt went from about a pound to like 10 pounds. But when it's comfortable, something's comfortable, it's comfortable.
Meanwhile, it's post time coming up at Churchill Downs, getting set for the 9th here. Let's check in with Frank Lyons.
All right, guys. So this is a nice little 1 other down allowance race for 2-year-old fillies. Let me give you a little history about the 11, Josie, in this race. She's never gone off at above even money. She's gone off 60 cents on the dollar, 80 cents on the dollar, and 30 cents on the dollar last time out, where she was second to a filly called Lady Glamour, who ended up being 3-5 in the Ellis Park debutante after that race, and she was eased. But she's a very good filly. She obviously had a problem in the Ellis Park debutante, but she's a very nice filly. And then Josie, first time out, finished second to a filly called Magic Dance. Magic Dance finished, she won the debutante afterwards right here at Churchill Downs, and then was third in the Grade 2 Adirondack at Saratoga in her next start. So Josie has kept some very, very tough company. I picked Josie on top, by the way. She's 5-2 right now. That's above, way above anything she's ever been. Also then the 5, Wasabi Girl for Steve Asmussen. Tyler Bays was aboard her last time out. Ricardo Santana Steve Asmussen's main rider. He's back aboard today, and she's on the board at 4-1 right now. She was a winner last time out at Ellis Park, going 5.5 furlongs at 3-1. Then the third place finisher came back to win. After that, I believe the 4 and the 3. Banker's Candy is the 3. Judy's Way is the 4. They both won by 8.5 lengths at Prairie Meadows first time out, and 6.5 lengths at Arlington Park second time out. They're obviously, you can't say how good or bad they are because they won easily in their first start. I think that they can step up today and at least get a piece of this, but I will take the 11, Josie, for the win.
Frank, thank you. Josie, yeah, favorite from that outside post here for trainer Brad Cox, who of course still has Kofefe to come in the Dogwood.
Won the beat, and she is the one that is the lowest in all the picks. I actually agree with Frank, because Donnie Van Hemel, Kelly Von Hemel, the Von Hemel family does not crank their horses first out. So Glenn Corbett and the 3 Banker's Candy would be my long shot.
I thought well spent, interesting, the 8 in here for Wayne Catalano. We saw Robbie Alvarado getting readjusted there with the 8. First try on dirt, but has a couple of bullet drills coming in. Here we go, race 9, Churchill Downs. Let's go to Travis Stone.
In the gate, and they're off. Awkward out of there for KBG. Wasabi Girl looking for the lead. Judy's Ways away well as well. Just Fly comes up on through to make it 3 across the track. 4 across with American Legend. 5 across with Well Spent. Baylorstown Lassie to the inside, settles in to be 6th. Banker's Candy's on the move from 7th. Josie's way out on the center of the track, running in 8th. Indy takes charge, advancing inside from 9th. Allied Parties in the thick of it at the back of the pack in 10th. Monedas de Oro was in a bit tight there, steadied briefly. KBG's at the back, so it's a tight pack round the far turn. Wasabi Girl coming after Judy's Way. Just Fly 3 wide. American Legend 4 wide. Well Spent 5 wide round the far turn. Meanwhile, Josie finds a seam and comes up on through. Right into contention, only 2.5 lengths off the lead. And then down inside, it's Banker's Candy. The field is off the turn. Just Fly on the outside of Wasabi Girl. Judy's Way down inside. Josie and American Legend racing for the mid-stretch marker. Wasabi Girl set down for that final furlong. Kicks away by 2. Just Fly, Josie, Judy's Way. Everybody else 16th to go. And it's Wasabi Girl with a 4. Now a 5-length lead. And sharp today was she. Wasabi Girl wins it. Josie was second. Just Fly and Banker's Candy.
Steve Asmussen, Ricardo Santana Jr., Winchell Thoroughbreds, and Adara Shanghai Bobby with the win.
And just as game as could be, she was part of that phalanx of horses that were vying for the lead. And it looked like the favorite, when she got her run, she was able to come out from behind horses. It was going to be all over, but Wasabi Girl just kept finding for hot connections. Get it? Wasabi Girl, hot connections.
Well
right?
done. Well done there, Mig. You get a sushi kind of guy. Yeah, this race was over in a heartbeat. You know, great ride, I thought. For the favorite who spun out the gray and just had no punch and just no answer for Wasabi Girl.
Back-to-back wins now. Wins at Ellis and now wins at Churchill Downs. Kofefe, Grade 1 winner of the test. Final stop on her road to the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint is coming up in the Dogwood next.
Run Happy, you know, he's 16-2. He's a beautiful horse. There's stamina on top and bottom, and he's stamping his horses with that. I think they look big and fast, and like horses that'll go on and run a distance as well as short.
He was a fantastic racehorse, and if he passes on his ability as a racehorse, I think he's a slam dunk to be a great sire. Very athletic looking and beautiful bodied horse as well.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
That time at Oaklawn, win a home run. Made for a big night. Bet on your favorite teams at Oaklawn's new race and sports book. Oaklawn, a new level of action, a new level of excitement.
The thermal spring waters our city is named after are known for their legendary healing properties. Their thirst-quenching properties are pretty nice, too. Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's different here. Come see why.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop has arrived. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2 and MSG+. We still have the Grade 2 Kelso coming up. Covfefe in the Dogwood. But in the race preceding the Dogwood at Churchill Downs, it's Wasabi Girl, Steve Asmussen, Ricardo Santana Jr. for Winchell Thoroughbreds, $10.40 for the win. Standing by with a winning rider. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
Hi guys, standing here with Ricardo Santana, who rides his 2nd winner of the afternoon aboard Wasabi Girl. She's probably getting a little better.
Well, she rode really well today, and she put herself in a great spot. And turned for home, she gave me a really nice kick, and thanks God we passed away at first.
So you haven't ridden her since her first start. Tyler Bays rode her in the last 2 starts. Has she improved, do you think, since you got on her? Is she a different filly now?
Well, she improved a lot, to be honest. She improved a lot. And the first time she rode, she was really green. And the first race, we not count much. And then second time she rode much better. Third time she won. Nice. And Alex, and today she rode a really good race.
And now, would you think that this filly would go 2 turns, or is she limited to sprints?
Well, I let the decision, like the taking Mr. Steve and the group. They know what they're doing with the horses, and I think she go to turn 2.
Okay, that's Ricardo Santana aboard Wasabi Girl for Steve Asmussen.
Frank, thank you very much. Dogwood is coming up next, and one of the top just sprinters, period, in the country. Coming up, 3-year-old filly Covfefe. She is already a Grade 1 winner after that victory of the test where she beat the Kentucky Oaks winner, Serengeti Empress, in that tremendous stretch duel. And she is a 1-9 favorite right now.
Yeah, and your worry is going into this race at 1-9. Does this race take a lot out of her? Man, she really had to run to the wire. Her and Serengeti Empress put on a flat show. The other answer, or the question you need to answer, there's no Serengeti Empress in here in this field at all, and that's why she's 1-9. So even if it did take a little bit out of her, she still could beat this field, Meg.
Well, and the fact that she showed a little bit of a different dynamic coming from just off the pace. She's always been in front. The fact that she was able to stalk and get it done that way, getting the outside post, it leaves options for Sean Bridgman. All he's got to do is let her break and run into her hands, and if no one goes, then she's in front. If someone goes crazy, then he's stalking from the outside, so it's really a perfect position for her.
Got about 7 weeks to recover from a stretch that had to take a lot out of her.
Yeah.
Interesting point you do bring up. But she's fired 2 bullets in the morning since that time in training. And, again, probably does not need to be at her best to win this race, but you never know how much that could take out of her.
No, you're right. And, the 2 horses in here for Ben Colebrook, Take Charge Angel, I would think is the horse is going to try to go to the front end and try to take it to Covfefe early. And, the riders look at the form. And if I'm Brian Hernandez, I'm going, Covfefe won from off the pace. He's probably going to think he can lay off me today and go by me. So if I was Brian Hernandez, I'd be very, very aggressive with the 2 and let Covfefe go by me.
Yeah, take charge of the race. Allow the other guys to adjust around you. Yeah. If you're going to make a mistake, be an aggressive mistake.
Well, that runner you're talking about, Take Charge Angel, she gave Kofefe all she could handle. And for Take Charge Angel, that was off the layoff as well. Still to come here at Belmont Park. Prince Lucky, multiple graded stakes winner. Todd Pletcher, he was thinking four-goer Woodward this summer. Instead, winds up here in the Kelso. And pat on the back. Get another crack at Open Company for Jeremiah Engelhardt. We'll be back.
You couldn't compose a better pedigree. A half-brother to Beholder.
Beholder's gonna go all the way.
A half-brother to Into Mischief.
Into Mischief wins the Cast Call Futility.
The most versatile performer from this brilliant family.
Mendelssohn's gonna do it. Mendelssohn has won it by a length.
What a win by Mendelssohn. Mendelssohn by a conservative 17 lengths.
Scat Daddy's best-bred son at stud. Mendelssohn.
We're gonna go traveling. Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Whether you have Derby dreams or midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there.
Diversify.
That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Back on America's Day at the Races, our show brought to you in part by the champion sprinter, Run Happy, now standing at Claiborne Farm. $25,000 at a legendary stall, #1. Look at some of the great names that have stood there before. Secretariat, Easy Goer, now Run Happy. And we're going to see his offspring hitting the racetrack next year in 2020, win at Saratoga with a Run Happy and win a non-restricted maiden race. $100,000 bonus is on the line.
You know, I was telling somebody the other day, like, when Chancelot ran his big buyer, everybody was like, oh, he's the next Run Happy. And then he lost. So you end up realizing how brilliant Run Happy was because he ran like 4 of those type of freaky races. And, you know, he just kept backing him up. He never really bounced.
There's a look at Mental Model. This is our current favorite here, 5-2. Linda Rice just claimed this one off of Chad Brown. And probably Chad Brown was saying, wow, I wish I didn't put that horse in for a tag, considering how good he ran last time out.
Well, he could not have won any easier, that's for sure. Now, I don't know exactly what was behind him. Maybe, he caught the right group, but certainly when they win like that, and Red Right Hand has certainly come back and done some good things. He actually set a track record at Delaware Park, if I'm not mistaken, off the Tom Morley claim. But he hasn't been seen since May 19th of this huge score. He worked steadily until September 1st, and we haven't seen him on the work tab since. Is that a cause for concern?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. You bring up a bunch of good question marks, but the horse has gotten better, obviously, with blinkers. Now, they gelded him, I would think, right after his first race. He ran a 0 buyer his first race, and then they gelded him. So we'll see, and Maggie's going to hold all the keys for us because we got to see if he's fit or not.
Well, let's send it downstairs, get her thoughts. Here's Maggie Wolfendale.
He's fit. In regards to #4, Mental Model, it's just because I know Linda Rice's horses so well, I'm a bit dubious of him. She's a trainer whose horses tend to carry extremely good conditioning. They carry their weight well. And while he looks healthy enough, he just doesn't necessarily look like a Linda Rice trainee. And there's holes to be poked in his form a bit. Yes, he did miss all of Saratoga and dating back to May. which leads you to be a little bit dubious of his chances. But then again, she lands him in the right spot, a spot that makes sense, that isn't that sketchy off the break. So we'll see what Mental Model does, as I'm interested in a couple other horses. That includes the first off the claim, Jason Service trainee, and that's number 6, Quick Entry, as he has put on significant weight and muscle mass since the claim. He was a bit quiet in the paddock, but once the jockey Javier Castellano got up on his back, he came alive, came up underneath of him on his toes. I think he looks best here. And then the other horse that caught my eye is number 7, Dark Storm. I was a little bit suspect of the horses that he faced, breaking his maiden in that off the turf maiden 65, but he's just taken steps forward from each of his starts this year off of that layoff, or that little layoff I should say, between May and July. He's gotten better with each of the subsequent efforts. So I think Dark Storm could improve off that maiden score last time, guys.
Yeah, Dark Storm, the 7 for George Weaver. Seems like he could definitely be dangerous in here, improving 3-year-old Son of Flatter.
Yeah, and that last one was good. I get it. It was only a 7-horse field and off turf event, but the way he finished, it seems like he's grown up his last 2 starts.
Post parade coming up, and we're going to start things off with Sergeant Drive from the inside slot. Rob Atras, second off the claim. Claimed this one off of Shug McGahee.
And this is a horse that has some races in his back form that would be good enough and has run well at Belmont Park, and I think he's going to appreciate getting back to 1 turn.
Sorry, claimed him off of Mike Maker, my mistake. Super Silver, Bruce Levine, Kendrick Carmouche.
Claimed this one 2 back off Bruce Brown, and then almost got the money last time over a sloppy racetrack. This horse does have a little bit of tactical speed. 8-1's a little too big.
9-2 on Big Muddy. Linda Rice claimed this one off of Rob Atras.
Ran well last time, has stepped up from 12.5 to 25, keeps her in the starter allowance condition, so she's not losing confidence in this horse.
Here's the one who ran so huge last start, so Linda Rice took this one from Chad Brown off that win.
Yeah, this one out of cleverly named Mental Model out of that damn Fashion House. We just had Fashion Week here in New York City, and blinkers have helped this gelding big time.
Violent Delights, Tom Albertrani, Luis Reyes is at 12-1.
Put a line through the turf races. This horse's form is very consistent, is always there and about 3 seconds, a little bit of a concern, but this horse is a competitive kind of horse.
2-1 favorite, and here's Quick Entry. It's Jason Service off the claim. He's 34% with that maneuver.
I get it. But this horse should not be your favorite, and I get it for 25. Castellano gets aboard, but Ian Wilkes does pretty good with his horses. I don't know how much he'll move up.
Dark Storm's at 5-1. It's Joe Bravo for George Weaver.
Horse's 2 races at Belmont were terrible. Gets to Saratoga, stretches to 2 turns. Is this a 2-turn horse? Is the 1 turn going to play against him?
And rider change Gary Richards on Ventus for Joe Parker.
Yeah, Gary Richards would get the ride here, like you said. And 1 turn is way better for the Son of Posse, but his numbers are way, way behind the rest of these.
Meanwhile, under the Twin Spires, it is Kofefe time in the Dogwood. Still 1-9 on the board. Grade 1 winner of the test. Looking to add another stakes win to her resume as she looks to move on to the Breeders' Cup Filly in Mary Sprint. Well, she will be one of the main contenders in that race.
Definitely. Come dancing for Carlos Martin out here. I'm sure we'll see a couple.
Who we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow. And a couple, obviously, on the West Coast. But, yeah, this filly right here by Into Mischief. We've seen a lot of Into Mischief, Smig. Wow. Saratoga everywhere. Runners, runners, runners.
Yeah, he just throws a good, solid racehorse. They show up honest. They run hard every time. And the outside post just strengthens Kofefe's already strong hand here in the Dogwood. I'm a little bit curious. What do you guys take on the 5 Champagne Anyone? I think she's finally turning back, getting to a distance that might be more suitable to her.
I get where you're going, because if you look, the races in the forward, Gal, not bad, behind Feedbacks and Mageltron, who we're going to see. I think it's running over at Park, say, if I'm not mistaken. You're right. The 1-turn race is way better for Champagne Anyone. The worry is how far back is she going to be, but she could round out to this exact very, very easily.
Sean Bridgemahan back aboard. He's on board for the debut. Also in that Roxalana, she's only lost twice. She lost when she stretched out to a mile in a Grade 1 second start of her career, and then she lost when she faced a Grade 1 older mare in the Roxalana at Churchill.
Yeah.
And slugged it out with Mia Mischief, an older mare that time of year who was in very good form.
And Jaywalk, who she lost to, was a monster 2-year-old, and Jaywalk's about to run in about 1 minute at Parks for a big race in the cotillion. So, I mean, she's lost to 2 fillies that were really good. Kofefe.
No question. And obviously showed she can sit off the pace last time. She had to, because that's how quick Serengeti Empress is, who she faced off with in the test. But options from the outside.
To me, I think it strengthened her. Like you said, it might have taken a little bit out of her, but what you said, like, Serengeti Empress tested her. And I think it was like the first time, like, I know she's been beaten, Mia Mischief, but she tested her to the point where she won. Where the last time she sort of lost a little bit to Mia Mischief, but to get that W against a quality horse in Serengeti Empress.
Yeah, and again, just getting that outside post in these long one-turn races, 7 furlongs, long run to the turn, gives the rider the ability to just let a horse fall into his hands, get in a good rhythm. They're going to get their breathing going the right way, very rhythmic, and just fall into the turn the right way. You got so much time, and Sean's that kind of rider. He's not a guy that's going to over-hustle. I think she's going to be probably laying 1-2 the right way.
What do you do with the 4, Greg? This is a horse for Larry Jones, and when he gets him right, they get going. And this horse, the last 3 starts, has been a different filly and won by 10 3/4 with Chantel Sutherland aboard. I thought a dangerous horse. Not buying it?
We'll see. I mean, look, you never know. 13-1. I just think Kofefe is going to be so tough in this spot. The races, if she, even in that defeat a couple back, that race demolishes this field.
I think, this race is so deep that we're kind of, it's easy to overlook horses. Look at the 1 horse, Bell's the One. She wins her maiden, comes back and wins a listed stake, wins another listed stake. And not until she steps up in a grade 1 competition, she finishes off the board. Then she runs second in a grade 2 and then off the board in a grade 1. This is a big drop down in class for her. I don't think she's as good as Kofefe, but it just speaks to how deep this field really is when you start digging through it.
Yeah, there is a lot of quality. It's compact, but it's full of quality, even though we have all eyes on this little filly right here, daughter of Into Mischief, who has been brilliant, immensely talented, super quick. Proved, though, she can sit off the pace last time out. But, again, how much did that stretch stool take out of her? She has had time to recover. It looks like, by all indications in the morning, she is her brilliant self.
She's training up a storm. I mean, she, just consistently throwing bullet works, and it looks like doing it the right way. And the outside post, I think it's just too formidable. To me, I'm looking for who I want to use underneath her.
We talked about the 2 a little bit, and here they come for our post parade. Take Charge Angel. I was just impressed with her because she faced Kofefe in her 3-year-old debut off about a 6-month layoff and threw down with her. And then the next time she was on a fast track, she won again with an improved buyer speed figure.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But she has to take another big step forward to be competitive today.
But my thing is, I think she can get to the front end, it makes her competitive. She's got to break out of there running. She can't be behind the 8 ball because, like Mick's saying, the 6 has got the advantage. Take the advantage away from the 6 and go to the front end and make you be the chaser.
So here's Bell's the One. Corey Lannery rides for Neil Pessin coming out of the grade 1 Acorn.
And this is a filly. When she's been in this kind of company, she's run well. The Dogwood isn't a graded stake, although it should be by the looks of this field.
I know, right?
Take Charge Angel lost by a half length to Kofefe when they met in April. Here's another chance. Ben Colebrook trainee.
Yeah, and she breaks well. She could be tough in here, and she's got to beat the main threat.
Free cover, 22-1. Brett Calhoun.
Another horse that could be part of the pace. At times, she has shown good speed.
Larry Jones, the one Paulie was talking about. East Down Councils won back-to-back starts.
Last race was a tour de force, 10 3/4, and Chantel had a hammerlock, and the horse had a bad beginning. Watch out.
Grade 2 winner of the Gulfstream Park Oaks, Champagne Anyone with Chris Landeros.
I think she's really going to appreciate the turn back in distance. She has won at the distance, a good third in the forward gal over the winter. I think 7/8 is really going to help her.
Now 1-5 on Kofefe, winner of the Grade 1 test in her last start.
Yeah, it just the class of the field. She's got $480,000 in the bank, and that's why she's 1-5.
All right, we'll return to the Dogwood and Kofefe back in action in just a moment. In the meantime, back here to Belmont for the 9th coming up. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
Thanks, Greg. And I just want to give a quick pop over at Parks. We saw Street Band upset Guarana in the cotillion. Many congratulations to Sophie Doyle. Couldn't be more happier for her as she picks up a much-deserved win. As we'll take a look, though, at number 1, Sergeant Drive, here in today's 9th race at Belmont. Sergeant Drive is a horse that I've been just kind of dancing back and forth on the form. How can you really like him off his recent efforts? And sometimes you wonder if a horse is decent for Shug McGahee, then his form starts going the wrong way. Do you want any part of him again? But he looked sensational in the paddock, and he looked even better warming up here for trainer Dylan Davis, as Rob Atras will send him second off of that claim. And I do think he is more of a dirt horse, obviously, as his form would suggest, but maybe the mile is suitable as opposed to the 2-turn 9 furlongs. He was sharp, but just that contained good energy you like to see. So I wouldn't be surprised that if at 7-1, Sergeant Drive does step up and run a bit better than what he has, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. 7-1.
I like that horse. I'm with her. Dead with her. I think the horse got a big shot. Rob Alchis is a very good trainer. And, you know, the last time this horse ran, he put Jose Ortiz aboard. Didn't break the best, dead last, broke flat-footed. I think it's going to be a lot better today. And Dylan Davis right now is riding hot.
Next door, meanwhile, big question marks with the 2 Super Silver. He ran huge last start, but that was on a sloppy racetrack. Can he repeat what he did last time out on a fast track here today?
Well, that's the question. And also, it's 1 turn. It's a differently run race than a 2-turn race, and he seems like he's been very good around 2 turns.
And that horse right there, Mental Model, big question marks with him now in the new Barna Linda race.
We saw a flashy first-time starter for Tom Albatroni. I'm in agreement with Mig. The 5 could be the long shot here. This turf form muddled up his decent dirt form.
Mental Model, the 4, the one to beat on the board. Let's send it upstairs. Larry Colmus with the call.
They're off. And it is Quick Entry out for the front with Ventus on the outside, also flashing some early foot, and Mental Model joins them from the rail. These 3 ahead of Violent Delights. Then it's Dark Storm 5th, Super Silver 6th on the inside, Big Money and Sergeant Drive. Up the backstretch, Mental Model grabs the front. Ventus is 3/4 of a length behind, running in 2nd position. Quick Entry is 3rd, Super Silver 4th on the inside. Dark Storm follows in 5th, 3.5 lengths off the lead up the backstretch. Big Money goes up outside of Violent Delights, and a bottled up Sergeant Drive at the back of the pack, 6 lengths from top to bottom through a 23.39 opening quarter mile. It is Mental Model on top as they speed to the half-mile pole. Ventus a length behind in 2nd. Quick Entry is 3rd on the inside. Dark Storm follows in 4th by another 2. Then Big Muddy on the outside of Super Silver. They went 46.37 for a half. Sergeant Drive is getting going now. Off the rail and moving 3 wide. And at the back of the pack, it's Violent Delights. They make their way toward the top of the stretch here, in pursuit of Mental Model, who's been there all the way. Dark Storm is 2nd. Between those 2, it's Ventus. Sergeant Drive is moving on the far outside. Cutting the corner is Quick Entry right in behind the leaders, too. It is Dark Storm in front. Sergeant Drive is 2 lengths behind. And then it's Quick Entry up into 3rd. Dark Storm trying to get another 16th here. Holding on to this lead from Sergeant Drive, it is Dark Storm and Sergeant Drive 1-2. And Joe Bravo and Dark Storm hold off Sergeant Drive to win. Then Big Muddy and Quick Entry.
Dark Storm with the win. Joe Bravo, George Weaver.
Well, in this horse, I was questioning whether it was the 2 turns in Saratoga. Obviously, it wasn't. This horse got a great trip. Outside post and elongated 1-turn races are always a benefit, and I think it made all the difference. Paul Sergeant Drive didn't break well from the rail, had to negotiate his way through traffic from last, and I think that was the difference. Just a good, clean break from the outside for Dark Storm, and not a great start for the 1, Sergeant Drive.
Yeah, you're right, cost him the race. The 1 really ran a great race here. The 7 just sat in good position here. Dark Storm for Joe Bravo, and gave this horse just a perfect ride. The 1 ran a bang-up race. Good call, actually, by Maggie, because this horse had to go completely wide into a slow pace. I kept looking at you guys like 46. I just don't know what the guys in the room are thinking. I mean, you just can't go that slow. It's just, you can't come from that far back.
Prices coming up. Dark Storm 6-1 on the board now. Back-to-back wins for George Weaver. We head back to Churchill Downs. Dogwood coming up, and Kofefe 1-5 on the board. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
Yeah, Greg, Kofef is now 1-5. It was 3-5 in the morning line. Winner of the Grade 1 test, as you guys had said last time out. Joe Rosario was aboard. Sean Bridgemahan is back aboard today. He was aboard in the Roxalana 2 starts back, where she actually got beat. Now, that was against older horses, but she was like 1-5 that day and got beat 3/4 of a length. So that was right here at Churchill, going 6 furlongs. Now, she's a daughter of Into Mischief. She cost $250,000, but this is the remarkable thing about this Kofef is that she's out of a mare called Antics, who's out of a mare called Aurora, who's out of a mare called Althea, who's out of a mare called Courtly D. This is one of the best bred fillies on the racetrack anywhere, and to get that Grade 1 under her belt last time out was just phenomenal. I reckon that Brad Cox she shows 2 bullet works in preparation for this. So I think that maybe he's just kind of putting her in here to just kind of not work her so much. She worked 59 twice. And when you work them in the morning, when you work them that fast, it's like, it's not like with the race in the afternoon. That's like 6 works. So I think that Brad Cox is just putting her in here to maintain her for the Breeders' Cup in a month and a half. And Kofef will probably be one of the favorites in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint. Also, I heard Paula Duca say that he fancies Istan Council to 4. Well, Paul, I'll tell you, she looks fantastic out on the racetrack, and she's currently on the board at 9-1. So I take a 6 Kofefe over the 4 Istan Council. The 5 Champagne Anyone, his last 3 races have been against great fillies. Been against Serengeti Empress, who won the Kentucky Oaks. Then she faced Gorana, who runs in the Cotillion, as does Serengeti Empress this afternoon, and then last time out against Dunbar Road. They're 3 Grade 1 races. Now she's coming into this listed race. It's a turnback. She's been racing at 1.25 miles, 1.25 miles, and 1.8 miles, but she did break her maiden going 7 furlongs. But I'm going to stick with the Kofef over Istan Council, 6 over the 4.
All right, Frank, thank you for that. And it's just an opportunity to see one of the great sprinters in the country in action here coming up.
That's exciting. You always want to see good horses compete. And I like the fact that Brad Cox will take a horse that's already a Grade 1 winner and run her in a listed stake, probably like Frank was alluding to, keeping her honed for the big prize in the fall, which is the Breeders' Cup.
Yep, keeping her fresh. And you're right. And here's the other part. Does she probably want to really go 7 furlongs, or does Brad really want her to go 7 furlongs or the mile? Yeah, I think so. Give her more fitness, because the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint is 7 furlongs at Santa Anita. So you got to keep her at these distances to keep her fit, because if you keep cutting her back to 6 furlongs, those other horses that are going to come back in distance when it comes to Breeders' Cup time going to have the edge on her. So I think Brad's trying to keep her sharp.
Maybe an option to face the boys.
No,
instead.
true too. That's also true too, because she's even better maybe at 6.
We've seen fillies do very, very well in the Breeders' Cup Sprint against the boys.
And 3-year-olds. I try to tell this all the time. 3-year-olds, colts, and fillies, for some reason, they run well against older horses when it comes to Breeders' Cup time.
Very subtle. Just ran them off their feet.
Yeah.
There she is, Kofefe, Grade 1 winner of the test. Final stop on the road to the Breeders' Cup. Here's the Dogwood. Let's go to Travis Stone.
And they're off. Kofefe with a good start at the far outside. Take Charge Angel fires up on through. Take Charge Angel up to be the leader, racing up the chute and heading for the main track. Kofefe will sit second on the outside, a break 2 lengths back to Istan Council. Over to the inside to be third. Free Covers racing in fourth. Champagne Anyone is fifth, and on the far outside, Bell's the one, the last of them all. 5 furlongs left, chasing Take Charge Angel, who throws down a quarter in 22 and 2/5 seconds. Kofefe rating today on the outside, sitting in second with 4 furlongs to go. Iston Council covered up inside while third. Free cover moving up on the outside. Fourth and now third with 3.5 furlongs to go. Bell's the one is 2 lengths farther back in fifth, and at the back is stretch running Champagne Anyone. Round the far turn, Take Charge Angel. Kofefi looms. Free cover comes up 3 wide on the outside. These three right across the track at the quarter pole where Kofefi takes over. Kofefi now in front. Take Charge Angel back into second. Free cover fully extended in third. Bell's the one is fourth. Iston Council's fifth. Nothing from Champagne Anyone. Kofefi sails by the 8th pole. Clear by 6, now by 7, now by 8. Kofefi primed and ready for the Breeders' Cup. Gallops home to win it by 6 lengths in the end. Bell's the one was second. Free cover was third. Iston Council fourth.
I would say she's ready to go for early November. Kofefi brilliant here, picking up the 5th win in 7 career starts.
Love it. Love that Sean actually stayed on her a little bit. I know it's a jog fest toward the end. She's not facing much, but these are all confidence builders coming up.
I mean, that's what you want out of a prep race, right? You want to win, but you want them to do it the right way. The fact that she showed that rating dynamic again, laying second in the clear, that post helped that. And when he asked her, you could visually see her accelerate. He's going to set her down in here, and she actually throws it into another gear. I was duly impressed. This is a filly that definitely, I had doubts about 7 furlongs. I don't have doubts about it anymore.
You can tell the difference, like Mick's talking about. Her head's lower, everybody else is higher. It's just like any other human being. Look at her. She's like, I'm breathing fine. All the other ones got their head up in the air like Greg and I running in a marathon, trying to chase Usain Bolt with our heads up because they're just dead tired trying to chase this freaky little horse right here.
And Sean's looking at the matrix board in the infield to just make sure there's no competition anywhere close. It's eerie when you open up that many links. It gets very quiet. And then you go, is somebody around me? And then you take a look and you see, wow.
So when they put the board inside for you, that had to help you guys out big time, no?
Immensely. Guys would start to look at it, and you would see if someone was coming to your outside. You let your horse drift out a little bit to meet them. And you know, any tool, anything that you can give you a little advantage, you got to take.
What a performance by Kofefi, Dogwood winner.
Okay, would you take on Matoli and all the other boys? Going 6 furlongs now? I mean, Matoli, and what's the other little engine that could? The other little
Chancelot?
Imperial Hint. So Imperial Hint, Matoli.
Chancelot.
Another 3-year-old. We'll see how he comes back.
There's nothing wrong with running like a girl.
Omaha Beach is coming back.
Late pick 5 follow along. 310,000 plus in the pool. Dark Storm returns $15. 2 legs to go.
The $120 some odd pick 3. Usually that's in line for a decent payoff in your late pick 5.
Up next, grade 2 Kelso. 1 turn mile ahead, purse of $300,000. And multiple graded stakes winner Prince Lucky for trainer Todd Pletcher. Last time he was at Belmont, last time he ran was a stakes win in the state dinner and a 1-turn mile in the 16th right here.
Yeah, he's been very accomplished at Belmont, 2 for 4. He's run fast. He's got a good outside draw. He's got speed in a race that I don't think has a tremendous amount of speed, so he can kind of control things from that outside draw. A lot of things to like. Also, when jockeys get to milestones, whether they think about them or not, they tend to happen for connections that they've been strong with over the years, and it's Todd Pletcher and Johnny Velasquez.
You got to love names of races like State Dinner, a horse that won a synthetic race. It's the inaugural, I want to say one of the synthetic races of the pro ride at Santa Anita on Breeders' Cup Day. He's got a race named after him here at Belmont.
Kofefi, she is a special talent. Daughter of Into Mischief, now 5 wins from 7 starts, and now the decision, 7 furlongs in the filly and mare sprint, or 6 furlongs against the boys in the Breeders' Cup sprint. Oh, I'd love to see it. We'll be back. More on America's Day at the Races coming up.
What constitutes a promising stallion? Speed? He's still the fastest tappet ever around 2 turns. Pedigree? He's got the strength of the founding fathers, top and bottom. And he's passing that strength on. With 2 graded stakes winners and 3 TDN Rising Stars from his first crop, he's one of the leading freshman sires in the country. Constitution. He's the son of Tappet we've all been waiting for.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the races in Covfefe under Sean Bridgmahan, trained by Brad Cox, owned by LNJ Foxwoods. It is on to the Breeders' Cup after this brilliant performance. 5th win from 7 career starts after a win in the Grade 1 tests. Now adds the Dogwood to her resume. Let's go to Frank Lyons.
All right, so standing here with Brad Cox. Brad, pressure's off.
Yeah, for sure. That was a tough wait to get him in the gate.
So she was 0.7 seconds off the track record. What do you think about that?
Not surprising. She's a fast filly. She's super fast. We think the world of her. She showed it today. You know, Sean just kind of eased her up at the end. But she's a nice filly, and she lets you know when she's ready to run. And she definitely shown us the last few works that she was ready to go.
She won the test last time out, beating a very good field, Serengeti Empress, Bellafina. This was a lot easier spot today. But was this a prep for the Breeders' Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as long as she comes out of this good, we'll point for Santa Anita, the Breeders' Cup, and if she's doing well, we'll take a shot.
Okay, so now when you say the Breeders' Cup, are you talking about the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint or the sprint?
Filly mare sprint.
Filly and mare sprint, okay.
She's proved she can do the 7/8, so I think it's the thing to do with her.
Okay, so well done, Brad.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
Brad Cox, guys, Covfefe.
Wow,
You
just
answered the question. There you go.
Whisker off the track record for 7/8 of a mile. And it's going to be really interesting to see now who goes in as the favorite. She could be the one to beat in that race. Obviously, we're going to see what Come Dancing does tomorrow right here at Belmont Park.
She was dynamite at Saratoga. She was dynamite after getting left in the gate. That right there just showed you. Brad Cox said, hey, she proved she can get 7 furlongs. So.
Yeah, that was the audition.
Yep.
I think she handled it okay.
Yeah.
Pat on the back, lining up at the Kelso for Jeremiah Engelhart, looking for his 8th stakes victory. We'll have more coming up.
Kentucky Derby winner Orb. On the track, his runners have scored on both dirt and turf, including multiple stakes winner Autumn Warrior and Sipacan Harbor, winner of the Grade 1 Spinaway Stakes at Saratoga. On the track, Orb continues to add winners. And in the sales ring, his 2-year-olds have sold up to $250,000 in 2019. Classic winner, classic pedigree, Orb, standing at Claiborne Farm.
I think the bonus is really interesting. Mr. McInvale, as usual, is thinking outside the box, doing a wonderful job promoting his horse. Buyers will really appreciate having an opportunity like that to come back and run their horses at these top tracks and earn that bonus.
It's a wonderful incentive both for people in the market and people that own these horses. And I mean, what a great bonus it would be for anybody that wins. I think it's wonderful.
Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York Reds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures. And there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guys win in the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races on a wonderful Saturday evening as we have the feature tacked and ready here in the Belmont paddock. It is the Grade 2 Kelso, and we'll start by talking about a horse coming back off of a layoff who we have not seen since Dubai, and that is number 2 for Calumet Farm and Kieran McLaughlin. True Timber, a horse who's also seeking his first graded stakes win. He's had some good runs in them, including a second in the Grade 1 Cigar Mile last year over at Aqueduct, and he's a horse I've always liked. Physically, he always looks great, and it really does appear as though Kieran has him ready for this return race. He's fit, he's strong. He's also one that can get a little high-strung pre-race. So they've taken every necessary precaution to somewhat assuage that habit. He's with the pony. He did have earmuffs in when he first walked in. They have taken him out. It has not changed his disposition whatsoever. So I think True Timber conserving that energy is probably a good thing, and physically looks great as Plainsman is number 6, and he is second off of a layoff for Shug McGahee. Got the 7 furlong prep in behind a track record setter in Uncontested and closed quite nicely into that fast pace as well, where that horse was loose on the lead. He does appear fairly sharp, and he's gotten a little bit warm, which I don't necessarily love. It's not that hot here, but then again, it's warmer than what it has been the past 10 days or so. He looks so strong, though. He looks so much in the game, too. He just has his game face on, and I think Plainsman, with that prep under his belt, could very well be dangerous in this Grade 2 Kelso at the 1-turn mile, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Approaching the 10-minute mark to post for our Grade 2 Kelso, and there is a look at Prince Lucky, multiple graded stakes winner for Todd Pletcher. He was thinking for a time the Forego or the Woodward with this horse.
Yeah. I'll put this horse right in the winner's circle. I had the wrong state dinner. It was obviously a horse that was in the 70s.
That he's coming out of.
Here's the thing. Todd Pletcher's had 3 horses today at 3 to 5. One won by a whisker, the other 2 ran second and third. Now this horse is a more legitimate horse at 8 to 5, not really getting bet. So what do you take out of it?
I have a hard time warming to him, and that's just full disclosure. It seems like when everything goes right, he's super impressive. He's one of those horses, I call him, he can throw a punch, he can't take a punch. But is he in a position where he's going to have to take a punch? Plainsman's the only other speed, and he doesn't even have a tremendous amount of speed, and he's right outside of him. He might just get to control things.
What about the 3 pat on the back? Now, you had thought that maybe he's gotten back into form now.
Yeah, well, I just think he showed high speed last time. And watch him, Prince Lucky, again, when he controlled things, he continues. He looks incredible working in the morning. Again, controlled environment. Same thing in the afternoon when he gets to control things. Pat on the back last time was rank. Came back off of a foot issue. He had a kind of light training into it, and he was keen. I think he'll revert back to more rating tactics today because that's where he is more comfortable stalking horses.
Dealt with quarter cracks and other foot issues throughout most of his career. Those are seemingly now behind him. He's 4 to 1 on the board. The 3 horse here for Jeremiah Engelhardt. They wanted to try the Met Mile and even the Belmont Sprint Championship with him.
Yeah.
They were forced to miss both of those because of those fit issues.
He's almost got $1 million in the bank. He was 5th in the Cigar Mile against pattern recognition. So he has back class. He's still a horse by congrats. I mean, they get a graded race into him. He can still be a sire.
And we saw John Velasquez equal the record of Jerry Bailey earlier on the card in the Noble Damsel, 660 career-graded stakes wins. He can pass him and hold that record all by himself here if he can win with Prince Lucky.
And what an accomplishment. Just an amazing, you're talking about just a lofty kind of accomplishment.
Here is Monongahela, Jason Service. Luis Reyes will ride.
And a horse that has had some really good races. His one-turn race here at Belmont wasn't that good. I like him better around 2 turns.
True Timber, Kieran McLaughlin, Calumet Farm, Joe Bravo.
How does this horse come back? from the trip in the Godolphin Mile. I think a player in here at 5-1.
Yeah, first start since that trip to Dubai. Here is Pat on the back. Jeremiah Englehart, Dylan Davis.
I love this horse today. I think he's back where he needs to be. His record at Belmont speaks for itself. He's good at the distance, and Dylan Davis knows him well.
That man right there trying to set the all-time record. Career graded stakes wins, riding for Todd Pletcher and Prince Lucky.
And the key to the race is if Prince Lucky gets to control things with that good outside draw. Obviously, Johnny Velasquez going for that milestone. Does True Timber show speed? I don't know. Prince Lucky makes leadies tough.
Plainsman his only try at Belmont. It was a win. Shug McGahee, Jose Lezcano for Shortleaf Stable.
And got a 7-furlong sort of prep, having not run since November to get ready for the Kelso here. I think dangerous.
And Barkley Tag sends out Tale of Silence, Grade 3 winner of the Westchester last year.
And he's been no match for Prince Lucky on 2 different occasions this year, both at Gulfstream Park. Does get that nice outside draw, and Javier Castellano signs one.
All right, so Pat on the back. For most of his career, has been facing New York bred company. Did try the Cigar Mile, as Paulie mentioned, wound up 5th in that 8-horse field. 2 back. Had a big moment with a win in the Commentator, although a little bit lucky in that race with Giant Expectations completely stumbling out of the gate.
But then Giant Expectations come back to run absolutely monstrous at Del Mar. Mr. Buff has come back to win. That's been a live race. Now in the Commentator, you're right. He got a little bit lucky. Got Expectations for Peter Urton, got dead left, and probably took the sting out of him. But Pat in the back shows fight like he did the time before that. He likes to win races.
So that's what I like about him, and I agree wholeheartedly about Great Expectations. He certainly was best on this day, but look at the way Pat on the back sticks his head and nose out. He wants to win. He has a great deal of desire, in some ways an overachiever. And when you look at his record at Belmont, 10 starts, 5 wins, 3 seconds, 2/3, he shows up. I think he's a tough little horse, and I like him here.
Pat on the back, 4-1 on the board with Dylan Davis. Meanwhile, the favorite remains Prince Lucky, standing by with his connections. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And pleased to be joined by the gentleman McConnell here at trackside as we have Dan, wow, I'm completely messing that up. John and Dan with me here. But guys, I remember last time taking us back, John, to that state dinner. Anybody could hear you in the grandstand. So exciting to see this horse win.
We love this horse so much, Maggie. He's part of the family. We bred him. He's a Pennsylvania bred. He's given us so much. We're going to ask him to give us one more.
And it's so touching, Dan, just to have a horse that you kind of bring up in your backyard, for lack of a better way to put it, to be as good as he is, because he is fairly modestly bred as well.
Well, we remember what you said after the last race. You said, I don't recall too many good Corinthian horses. And we said, yes, there is. There's one, Prince Lucky. So, yeah, we're really happy with Todd Pletcher and JR. What a great job they've done, and we've sent some other horses to them, some babies. So we're excited to have them as part of our team.
The future's always bright with the babies. There's always something to look forward to. And John, as we look forward to this Kelso, obviously it's a bit of a step up. But coming off a bit of a break, was it something that he kind of needed just to be a little bit fresher?
A little bit of a rest, Maggie, and he's been training great. He threw in the bullet 2 works back, then had a nice and easy 4 furlongs last time with a good gallop out. Todd Pletcher, and John Velasquez today, a Hall of Famer. We couldn't ask for anything more.
Looking for a second graded stakes as well. Guys, thank you so much for joining me, and best of luck.
All right, thank you, Maggie.
Oh, you guys, I'm sure you can tell how much Prince Lucky means to the O'Connell guys, as he is a homebred, and they'll be rooting him home, that's for sure.
Cool stuff.
It's very, very neat to see. Yeah. And yeah, homebred, Pennsylvania bred, who has already become a multiple graded stakes winner, now looking to add the grade 2 Kelso to his resume. Loves it here at Belmont, but you can tell how much they truly love this horse.
Yeah, Corinthian had his best day in the inaugural dirt mile at Monmouth Park, where he just absolutely crushed with Javier Castellano in the irons. Right, Maggie's right. He did not turn out to be a great sire, but this son of Corinthian can flat out run. And since, you know, he was in the Larry Jones barn, got transferred to Todd Pletcher, They gelded him, and then they tried to say, hey, let's try to get him in the Derby. They put him in the Sunland Derby, didn't work out, sort of backed up on him, and since he's turned 4, Mig, he's turned into a different horse.
And he's a horse that used to get a little bit hot. You know, he'd lather up around his neck. You'd watch him train in the mornings. You think he could beat anybody. I mean, I watched him train his whole 3-year-old year when they were trying to make him a Kentucky Derby type horse. And he kind of finally figured out, I thought, last year in the easy goer. I do like that, you know, he likes Belmont, and the one turn suits him so well.
Meanwhile, here's Plainsman, who is steadily taking money here. He had put together 3 consecutive victories as he moved up and up and up in class, including a grade 3 win in the Discovery at the end of his 3-year-old campaign. And now he's going to get this test this afternoon. His only try at Belmont was a win.
This is a dangerous horse because when you look at, you know, Billy Van Meter had this horse beginning of his career. Look at the horses he ran against. Magnum Moon, Tenfold. Some good horses in there as well. So now he goes to the Brad Cox barn and he wins the Discovery, beats Gronkowski. Some good horses. And I think he might have had some issues. Hasn't, you know, was off since November, Mig. They gave him the Shug. Shug, you know the way he is. He takes his time and he got this horse right. Ran a bang-up race going 7 furlongs, which might not even be his ideal distance. He's dangerous.
Well, that's certainly a perfect prep. Set him up to stretch out to the mile here at Belmont Park. He's well drawn. He has enough speed to stay close to Prince Lucky, who I think, looking at this, unless True Timber kind of blasts off, and I don't see that happening, Prince Lucky's going to be on the lead. And you got to think that Plainsman will be the nearest pursuer.
We want to remind those watching on Fox Sports 2, thank you for spending part of your Saturday with us. We are back tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern time on Fox Sports 2. You're going to be leaving us in about 4 minutes or so you can catch the conclusion of this card. And if we don't get you this race in time, this one as well, you can go to NYRABets.com or on the NYRABets app, see how the rest of the day plays out. Here is a look at True Timber. Kieran McLaughlin, again, first start since making that trip to Dubai.
Yeah, and that's always a worry. Horse has been working well, coming back over the Belmont training track, usually a little tighter there. And when you go a minute breezing, that's pretty fast over the training track.
Yeah,
and
Kieran's not a guy who's looking to breeze his horses fast. It's not so much about time, it's about how they do things. Interesting watching him warm up. I thought he was a little on edge. He might be fresh coming off the layoff, not running since March in Dubai. And when you see a rider kick their feet out of the stirrups, they're trying to get a horse to relax. A horse gets a little bit of comfort with feeling the rider's legs around them, gives them just that feeling of a little bit more security. So you see Joe Bravo trying to get him just to settle down a little bit more.
Check in again with Maggie.
And we'll take a look at number 2. First off the bat, True Timber. Couldn't be happier with his warm-up and the way he got over this Belmont Park strip here. And then again, I'm always sucked into him. He always runs well, but he never seems to win. We'll see what he can do off the bench. As I didn't get to talk about number 5, Prince Lucky. I admit, I did not love his pre-race appearance going into that state dinner, but today, I do. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'm still not sure, because sometimes horses that I like, then they don't run any good. But all things today, off that break, are looking strong and fit for your current favorite, Greg, Prince Lucky.
3-2 on the son of Corinthian. And you know if he wins this race, his owners are going to be very loud here. We're going to hear them echo all throughout Belmont Park if he can collect another graded stakes win. But again, to do it, he's going to be forwardly placed. Pat on the back, probably not going to be that far out of the mix, nor is Plainsman.
I think Pat on the back's going to be sitting that drafting kind of trip,
Yeah,
and I think that's the trip he wants. And I really like Pat on the back today. No knock on Prince Lucky, who, again, when he gets to control things, he's very tough, and it depends on tactics, what the other riders decide to do.
It's very key. They got to stay on Prince Lucky, or the race could be over in the first half mile.
Kelso, one of the greats of all time. Grade 2 Kelso coming up. Prince Lucky, the 5-horse for Todd Pletcher, the favorite. Let's go upstairs to Larry Colmus for the call.
They're all in line. They're off in the Kelso. And it's a good beginning for Plainsman, who goes immediately to the early lead, but plenty of competition. True Timber on the inside comes on through. Prince Lucky, Pat on the back, and Monongahela are all right there too, and Tale of Silence will be last. Up the backstretch, True Timber, Prince Lucky, and Monongahela. Now it's these three across the track. Pat on the Back is right behind them, and Plainsman is now back running in fifth after a sharp beginning and 3 lengths off the lead. 2 lengths back to Tale of Silence. 22.96, a contested opening quarter mile here with Monongahela, True Timber, and Prince Lucky racing across the track, and Pat on the Back and Plainsman 2 lengths off of them. Tale of Silence continues to race last of this 6-horse field and is 5 lengths off of this 3-way battle up front. Monongahela, Prince Lucky, and between those two, it is True Timber. They're across the track through a 45.73 half. And then it's Plainsman fourth and on the move. Pat on the Back, still right in contention in fifth. And Tale of Silence at the back of the pack. They're arriving at the quarter pole. Prince Lucky on the outside of True Timber. Monongahela gives way on the inside. Here's Pat on the Back, now swinging out 4 wide for the stretch drive, and they're into the stretch. And Pat on the Back has rushed up on the outside of Prince Lucky. It's these two at the 8th pole. Pat on the Back has taken the lead. Prince Lucky tries to fight on second. True Timber is third. It is Pat on the Back and Prince Lucky battling on from the inside, but it's going to be Pat on the Back to win the Kelso. Over Prince Lucky, True Timber, and Tale of Silence.
Pat on the Back, graded stakes victory, the 8th stakes win of his career. Getting it done in open company here.
Great ride here by Dylan Davis. Good call by you, Mig. He always had a lot of horse, and he left the rail at a right time, because sometimes you don't want the rider to leave the rail, but I think he did the right thing. He sort of just nudged out a couple paths there. You know
he had to get a little bit of room with the Plainsman outside of him. He was lucky Plainsman ran out of horse. He was able to follow Prince Lucky, edge out. He was a bit keen today. I know, Dylan got a lot of criticism for being on the pace last time. That was the horse. The horse showed that kind of speed. He wanted to show that kind of speed. Dylan made him sit in that pocket trip. Great job by Jeremiah Englehart. This horse is now earner of over $1 million. He's got his grade 2 placing, and he will have a stud career someplace, probably upstate New York, hopefully not far from where I live.
I hope we do, because we're going to see tears definitely in the winner's circle, or actually some tears for some people. Great job by Dylan. And the thing here about Pat on the Back is sometimes you just love horses that love racetracks. You made a great point, because you said, Dylan, hit this horse left-handed because Prince Lucky's going to fight back. So I got to give the 5 a little credit. He fought back in the lane.
Yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do is stay away from another horse. You don't want to embolden them. You're going by them. Stay wide of them. Don't let them engage, because Prince Lucky was looking for a fight.
Pat on the Back, what a moment in here. Tried grade 1 company in the Cigar Mile. Things did not go his way that day at all. And now, crowning achievement in this 5-year-old's career that is going to, as Mig mentioned, significantly increase his value at stud.
Like Mig said, when you have a horse like this that has run 99, 99, 98, just a consistent racehorse, still a horse, obviously had foot issues, and now corrected that. 133 and change, that's running.
Yeah, 133 and 4. I was just going to mention the track record's 132 and 1.
Yeah,
that's a quick final time.
Yeah, he ran, and for a horse to take the kind of hold he took early, and keep finding, you don't usually see that. I mean, this horse is Hickory. He's one of those throwback kind of horses, just tough. He shows up every time.
And again, we keep reiterating this, and Dylan Davis, a hat trick, and he gave a little fist pump. And you know what, Dylan? He deserves that fist pump, because he was so unlucky in the Saratoga meet, so many seconds, so many thirds. He was due. You know, we got to put away the notion of the New York breds can't beat the Kentucky breds. It's just gone. Those days are over. A Pat on the Back showed you today. We've seen Come Dancing. The New York breds can run with all of them now.
Diversify.
Yep.
A lot of good ones for a long time have been doing it. And here's another. Pat on the Back. What a performance. 8th stakes victory of his career. As we head back to Churchill Downs. Race 11, their nightcap coming up. A mile on the turf. And Addison for Dale Romans.
Yeah, the horse to beat.
Not a major contender in here.
I would think so.
You have Al Stahl on the rail with In Good Spirits, who's intriguing as well, getting on turf for the first time.
This is a really interesting race. When you look at the turf trainers, you have the 2. Cherie DeVoe has the 4. And I'm with Wolfie. The 10 is another horse that ran well. You like the 3 a little bit?
3 for Rudolph Brissett, major player. I like the 5, Go Storm and Girl.
Okay. Danny
It's all
Senna?
about trips, guys. 2-year-olds going 2 turns. Always keep an eye on the first turn. Hope they get through there in good shape.
I think the first horse you mentioned, well, the first horse you mentioned, the 10, I think Addison's going to be tough.
Travis Stone with the call. Here is the 11th and final from Churchill Downs on this Saturday afternoon.
Still waiting for Ghost Storm and Girl, and Addison behind the gate as well.
Waiting, I believe, just on. Are we
looks like
waiting
the
on the 5 as
yeah.
well? And Addison, the 10 on the outside.
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing an equipment change or not. You can see some of the guys on the gate crew are looking back at the 5, and maybe you could say they usually have an extra set of blinkers, extra set of everything.
Yeah,
at the
they
gate.
have
Maybe
an
they're
extra
changing
set of
some-
everything.
Yeah,
The
right?
bridle, different bits, different reins. But it looks like they're having some issue, and I'm not sure exactly what it is from our vantage point. You could see the assistant starter standing in the 6 stall waiting on, it looks like maybe the
5 to
the
walk
5,
in.
and maybe they're working on something with the 5 in the stall, because it's easier to keep a horse controlled when they've got a horse in there. It looks like his head's in there.
Yeah,
They might
you're
be
right. His nose
trying to
band's
work
in there.
on some equipment in there.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure, guys.
Now you see those legs standing down in the stall, the 6.
Yeah, and are they going to load the 10? It looks like they're going to load the 10 before the 5. Oh, no, they got the 5 behind the gate now. And for you at home, we're at the mercy of this shot, okay?
Yeah,
so
we don't have,
we
benefit
can't
of a
tell you
hind
what's
shot.
going on.
Yeah,
But it looks like they're
exactly.
getting the 5 in or trying to get the 5 in now.
And obviously,
They're going to open up the front now, I think.
Yeah, it looks like this horse is just balking at this point. They'll open up the front. Sometimes horses will go to that empty space. They'll see daylight. They'll walk towards it, where they'll be more reluctant to walk towards the closed doors. Then the key is the guy in front, the assistant starter, to close those doors before the horse runs all the way through and or runs him over. You've got to have a lot of courage to be an assistant starter.
Oh my God, I want that job. So unheralded, unsung heroes of the racetrack, the job they do.
One of my good friends, his cousin, Nicky's actually a gate crew guy here in New York, and I literally saw him like 5 times at Saratoga, and he had a broken part of his body. It was either his wrist, his arm, he had broken his back, he suffered a concussion. Again, look, I mean, this is what you're
That's
dealing
what I'm
with.
saying. This horse runs right through the
What
front.
that starter just did was amazing to hold on to that horse. You think his right arm feels good right now? No. It's holding down a 2,000-pound animal, 1,000-pound animal with your right arm. And obviously this horse was running to space. So
now they're going to try to back this horse in, because there's not a lot of space to be able to walk back around the
they're going
gate.
to do the beep,
And then now they're walking back in. And sometimes that works better than anything. You get in less of a fight, horse reluctant to go forward. You can back them up. And these are 2-year-olds, they're a little bit obstinate as she reared
Rears
up.
up.
And again, these guys are down in front of these hooves, a 1,000-pound animal. And, it's, again, a tricky, dangerous thing. They do the best they can with high-strung horses.
The crazy part is if you look at some racing, like in Japan, the starters will come underneath and run out. I'm like, you guys are crazy.
Addison moves in. Let's go back to Travis Stone.
They're in the gate. And they're off. And goes Stormin' Girl with a good start at mid-pack. In good spirits toward the inside. Away well, too, and those two fastest off the mark. Rather Be Lucky Than Good on the far outside, and Hey Kitten right in behind. Splitting them is Turnstone, up to be 5th, about 2.5 lengths off the lead. Very wide into that turn. Rather Be Lucky Than Good. Perhaps something wrong with the equipment there. Tough to see from here, but Rather Be Lucky Than Good's bolted to the far, far outside and has gone way out there and is all the way to the back of the pack. So an eventful opening quarter mile leaves In Good Spirits in front to the backstretch run. Goes Stormin' Girl tracking on the outside in second. Hey Kitten covered up inside while third. Turnstone racing fourth. Mastercraft on inside fifth. Addison is 6th by 2. Egyptian Princess is covered up inside 7th. Seattle Slang is 8th and 9 or 10 lengths off the lead. Lincoln Center's racing in 9th, and it's a massive margin back to Rather Be Lucky Than Good. 49 1/5 seconds for the half-mile time. In Good Spirits rolling on to the far turn in front. Unopposed so far. Goes Stormin' Girl, asked to go now. Hey Kitten working on a good trip. Turnstone not far behind either. And then it's Mastercraft, who's lost a bit of ground. Addison is winding up on the outside. Egyptian Princess angles off the rail for the stretch drive. In Good Spirits floats wide off the turn, still in front though. Turnstone coming on boldly. Goes Stormin' Girl's in behind, and Hey Kitten is at the rail at the 8th pole. In Good Spirits is still in front. Hey Kitten trying to rally down inside. Turnstone trying to get by on the outside, but In Good Spirits, who's wandering about the course, has gone start to finish to win it by 2. Turnstone was second. Hey Kitten was third. Seattle Slang and Addison.
Al Stahl trying to get her on turf first time out. It was taken off at Saratoga. Gets on the lawn, wins it 3-1.
And you get to go a half in 49 and get as comfortable as she did. You're supposed to get it done. She's a little green in the lane, wandering about, but I think this horse was meant for the turf and obviously showed up today.
Yeah, she did. And I'll tell you what, the 7 ran a bang-up race after being 8th in a race at Indiana Downs. But Declan Cannon gave that horse a great ride. It was always on the hip of the 1, but just could never go by. Ends up out finishing your favorite, the 3 Hey Kitten, at a monster price there. 7 was 51-1. Will round out your exacta.
Back at Belmont, the grade 2 Kelso. Pat on the back, winning against Open Company for most of his career. Been facing New York breds and showing he belongs.
Well, Pat on the back certainly belongs. Son of Congrats paid $9. I think that was a generous price on him. Outran the favorite Prince Lucky. Johnny Velasquez will have to wait another day or two before he turns that milestone.
Yeah, still looking for number 660 when I got number 660 today. But Dylan Davis, he got 3 this afternoon. Jeremiah Engelhardt and Harold Lerner, your winning connections of Pat on the back as we go to Maggie.
Pleased to be joined here in the winner's circle by owner Harold Lerner of Pat on the Back, who gets his much-deserved first graded stakes victory in the Grade 2 Kelso. Harold, a horse who a little bit of a tough luck loser last time. Today, he got to sit his trip.
Yeah, you know, we were hoping to get some pace up front, and 3 horses decided to go. Dylan just sat right behind him. Those were the instructions that Jeremiah gave him. And when he hit the turn, he took off, and we had enough force to get home first. I thought he ran really, really big. To be a Grade 2 winner, to me, is a really big deal. And it just goes to show you the New York bred program produces some top-flight racehorses, and we're very fortunate to have him. And he's, you know, just done a great job. We love him. He's like family to us, and it's really, really good stuff.
And horses who possess a lot of longevity as well. I mean, this is a horse who made his debut as a 2-year-old in July and is still around, knocking heads with the tough New York breds, and now even with Graded Stakes Company.
Yeah. You know, early on, I think that we felt he was going to be a nice horse, but I think he's gotten better as he's gotten older. He's filled out, and he's really a professional type racehorse. He knows what he has to do. And he just seems to get the job done. I mean, I'm just amazed. I've owned a number of horses in this game, and I've been pretty lucky. But this guy is just, I think he's a dream horse to own, and he just gives it his all the time. We're just really happy to have him.
Much deserved. Congratulations with Pat on the Back.
Thank you very much.
And guys, if you were watching the show a couple days ago, Jeremiah Engelhardt, his trainer, said he'll win. Well, he was right.
How about that? Ruthian called his shot.
Yeah.
Late pick 5, follow along. 1 leg still remains.
and they're good. They're paying good. The lowest you can get is to the 7, hit a provisional, which I've done many times on a golf course, about $1,200 to that horse. Louisiana Lady, the 2, 37 to 1. Hopefully you have that one in the Empire, because if that horse happens to win, you take the whole jackpot, the whole ball of wax, Greg Wolf.
Taking a look at the odds here for the nightcap coming up. Man, I love to see these older horses, Mig. Give them time to develop and grow into themselves, and then it pays off.
Well, a horse doesn't really reach full maturity till the age of 5. So here he is racing as a 5-year-old. I love how he's been managed. If you look through his past performances, all the state-bred races, but you have that to take advantage of, and then it's time to step up. And here he is now when he's the most developed, the best he's ever been, and he gets a grade 2. And I think this does make him a stallion, particularly in the state of New York. Heck, I've got a big indoor arena. I'm going to talk to Harold and see I can turn it into a breeding shed, and we'll promote
Stand
him.
at
I don't know if
Migliore
we can do
Farms.
it as well as Run Happy promotion, but we'll do a little pat on the back promotion.
I like it.
That would work out well.
Here's the other part is he's like, this is a horse that's had foot issues and has still accomplished $1 million in earnings. So, you know, with the foot issues behind, now do they try to move forward and keep on going? Like he said, listen, this is a graded win, a grade 2, and this is a big win for this horse. And like he said, the New York bred program, it pays to own a New York bred.
Yeah, hats off to Jeremiah Engelhardt to work through those foot issues. And a horse that, by the way, used to be with Kenny McPeak, and he did the same thing as well, had this horse in very sharp form. Pennsylvania Derby happened just a little while ago. Grade 1 at Parks. Improbable for Bob Baffert, 6-5 favorite with the defection of Maximum Security. Mr. Money coming into his own, having won 4 in a row. Here it is from just moments ago.
Underrun and Improbable. Backing up just a little bit, and they're off, and Improbable did not get a good break. Improbable did not get a good start. So spun to run on the outside. War of Will to the inside. Mr. Money right with those two. And it looks like Mr. Money, after Improbable got that poor start, will inherit the lead. And Gabriel Saez has a handful. In fact, he has 2 hands full of Mr. Money as they go into the first turn. War of Will will ease his way to the outside. That will carry Spun to Run 3 wide into the turn. Improbable has now moved up 4th. He's trying to get off the inside for Mike Smith. And then it's Math Wizard and Shanghai Superfly. Mr. Money went that first quarter in 24 and 2, and he'll lead the way to the backstretch in front 3/4 of a length. War of Will prompt in second, and the length back to a 3 wide Spun to Run. He's racing third by 2.5. Improbable biding his time with 5/8 to go, just edging up just a little bit now. Improbable within 3 lengths of the lead. The 2 long shots at the back, Shanghai Superfly and Math Wizard. That's a very slow half mile. 49 and 3 for Math Wizard. Going to be a sprint for the last 4 furlongs now. They head to the far turn. Mr. Money in front 3/4 of a length. War of Will continues to track. Spun to Run coming up 3 wide. Improbable waiting for his cue to go. Math Wizard trying to get involved on the outside. So they round the far turn. War of Will coming up to engage Mr. Money. Spun to Run is 3 wide in it with a chance. Math Wizard trying to spring a big upset on the far outside. Improbable saving ground all the way, looking to come through on the inside. It's Mr. Money off the turn with the lead. Mr. Money in front. Spun to Run on the outside. Improbable up the inside. War of Will in between horses. Math Wizard on the far outside. What a finish in the Pennsylvania Derby. Here comes Math Wizard on the far outside. Math Wizard, Mr. Money. Math Wizard on the outside. Math Wizard, yes sir! Math Wizard, 3-1 upset winner in the Pennsylvania Derby.
Irad Ortiz Jr. pick up Mount Victory on Math Wizard, widest of all for the win in the Penn Derby.
This was a crazy race. When Improbable got left, it changed the whole dynamics of this race. I don't think Gabriel Saez wanted to be on the front end with Mr. Money. You could tell Tyler Gaffleone, they already learned their lesson with War of Will. They didn't want to be close to the front end. They wanted a target. Spun to Run and Paco Lopez, I thought, ran a bang-up race to actually just make War of Will and Mr. Money work. Improbable getting left, had to go into the rail. Irad Ortiz Jr., wow, 30-1.
A lot going on in this race, and if you think, Math Wizard was a horse, I couldn't make this horse. I couldn't come up with him, but he did get a tremendous ride from Irad, who rides every horse like they can win. And I think horses feed on that positive energy. And I think he did something very, very smart. He stayed away from Mr. Money. He kept going to the left-handed stick, stayed out in the middle of the course, didn't give Mr. Money a chance to see him and engage. And a horse like Mr. Money's a fighter. You saw he was kind of holding everybody else at bay around him. He just never got to engage with the winner.
30-1 upset in the Pennsylvania Derby, and maybe another horse to consider now.
It just, I mean, what do you do with the 3-year-old division?
Completely wide open. Meanwhile, 3-year-old fillies in the Cotillion, and Guarana, back-to-back Grade 1 wins. Veered out, though, in that mile and an eighth Coaching Club American Oaks. Could you get the mile and a 16th here in the Cotillion? Let's see how it played out. Keith Jones with the call.
And they're off in the Cotillion Stakes. Great beginning for Serengeti Empress as she flashes her speed on the inside. Horologist Guarana close up. Jaywalk is forwardly placed from the outside. So into that first turn, it's Serengeti Empress with Jaywalk alongside. Guarana settles back in third. Horologist a good spot on the inside. Fourth, Bellafina has gotten good early position on the outside. Then it is farther back this week. Sammy D. Geltrin to the inside. Will go to the backstretch about 8 lengths off the lead. And it's a Fleet Destiny Collegeville Girl. Street Band has only 1 horse beaten right now, and that's Long Shot. She makes me smile. Very fast quarter, 22-3, and Jaywalk has made the front. Jaywalk 3/4 of a length. Bellafina will track her on the outside. Serengeti Empress is covered up. She's third at the inside, just better than 2 lengths off the lead. Guarana in a good spot. She's fourth on the outside and is again edging up now within 2.5 after a strong half of 46-1. So it's Jaywalk. Jaywalk to the far turn, just a neck in front. Bellafina now comes up on even terms. Serengeti Empress trying to get out from in behind those two. Guarana got first run on Serengeti Empress. Horologist trying to get involved now. It's Bellafina. Bellafina has taken the lead with 5/16 to go. Guarana now right at her neck. Horologist is in with a chance. Serengeti Empress still trying to find some way through. They come to the top of the stretch, and it is Guarana. Guarana has taken the lead. Straight Band has made a big move on the far outside. They're coming down to the final furlong. Guarana, here comes Straight Band on the outside, and Straight Band has come from far back to take the lead. Guarana now second, but Straight Band is beginning to move away, and this will be a signature moment for Straight Band. She's 7-1, and she's got it. Straight Band wins the Cotillion just over 2 at the end. Guarana was second, and then Horologist and Bellafina.
Beat by Serengeti Empress in the Rachel Alexandra and in the Kentucky Oaks. Street Band Grade 1 win.
What a ride by Sophie Doyle. At the beginning of this race, she was dead last, Mick. She let the pace sort of develop, and you could tell she was moving. And you know what? She did the right thing. She's like, I'm going to stay wide, stay out of trouble, because last time I got pinned on the rail at Saratoga. Not happening today. And she showed that Street Band, you know, she almost beat Guarana last time and gave Guarana all she can handle. This is a real horse right here.
Yeah, and 1.25 miles, maybe not all she wanted. Slow pace. She was kind of in trouble because the field doesn't separate. You get a fast pace like this. She settled. She's way back. She made every right move. Really happy to see that enthusiasm when she hit the wire. She just won $1 million race. I mean, how cool is that? Yeah. And contributed a really fine ride.
She gave the half Kirk Gibson sort of Derek Jeter. Gotta love it for Sophie Doyle. I do. I love it because she can flat out ride. And now she wins $1 million race, and she gave the horse a tremendous ride in the Alabama. And listen, Jose Ortiz, who's aboard Dunbar Road, who won that race, credited her because he drafted off her last time with a great ride. Gave the horse another great ride today. Congratulations to Larry Jones, and kudos for Larry Jones for keeping her on the filly.
And Guarana, what do you think? Maybe a cutback in order now?
Yeah, and I mean, particularly because her stablemate Dunbar Road will handle the distances. She can turn back in distance. And I'm with you. Larry Jones, give him a lot of credit. I'm sure his phone was ringing off the hook, people trying to get on that filly.
100%, yeah.
Post parade for the nightcap. We saw Barrel of Destiny go by. Here's Louisiana Lady, Luis Reyes.
This takes home the whole ball of wax. Like I said, if somehow this 35-1 shot wins, someone gets the jackpot.
28-1 Pecatonica, Gary Richards rides.
And filly bred right up the road from me, my good friend Doug Cook.
Pioneer of New York, Mark Casse.
That was well done, Pecatonica. Well done, Greg.
Thank
That's
you.
why you're the host. Mark Casse here and Johnny V.
Don't ever forget it. Mrs. Orr, Dylan Davis looking for 4 today.
Hot ride in Dylan Davis. Hot stable. Mike Maselli hitting at 28% this year.
She's dreaming Mike Luzzy, Tom Bush.
This horse brings speed and now going to stay at the mile distance, but the blinkers have helped out, at least early.
Brutal trip last out for the 7-hitter provisional.
Hit a provisional, carried very wide in the first turn. Shouldn't have that trouble here with the elongated race, one-turn mile here at Belmont.
Rider change on the 9. It's Pablo Fregoso on Cirque for Bob Dunham, and here's the 10 Star of the East.
Will this horse actually open up your favorite? Yeah, still is your favorite at 2-1.
Citizen Matzo, Roy Lerman.
I think this filly's got races that could put her squarely in the mix here. She stretched out last time, didn't have a terrific trip.
Summer Squeeze, Mark Hennig trainee.
You know, I actually like this filly a little bit to maybe hit the board. I just don't love the post position. Love the price.
And Temper's Way also eligible. Gets in at 15-1. Did everyone forget?
No, filly that's got speed. Looks like she belongs. Gets Kendrick Carmouche. You know he'll be aggressive.
Just missed by a neck for 40 claiming last time out. Big numbers. Our finale from Belmont Park on this Saturday afternoon. Coming up when we return here on America's Day at the Races on MSG+.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or Naira Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NairaBets.com.
This gleaming chestnut wins by 6 on debut, with the promise of bigger things to come. Justify, he's on a dizzying ascent to greatness.
What do you do when the experts compare you to legends?
Justify has won the Kentucky Derby. He's unstoppable. He won the Preakness. Justify is the 13th Triple Crown winner.
You justify it.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop has arrived. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races. Look at that lift off.
Wow. I was a Hawk, Apollo Hawk. That was my
if
high
I
school.
came back as a Hawk, I would be here at Belmont too.
Right.
You get to watch the races. You got plenty of rabbits in the infield to eat. You got a good life.
Wow, I never thought of it that
Those
way.
talons are dangerous.
Yes, they are. Those talons are very dangerous.
Especially if you're a rabbit.
And here's the other part. If there's any fish in those waters out there, they could pluck a couple of those too.
We are a minute to post in our nightcap coming up. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
Oh, the good old Belmont Hawk. He actually had a good look at my Jack Russell one day. Thought about swooping down and taking him. Didn't realize he's probably about 20 pounds. Can't quite handle him. As we'll take a look at number 4, Pioneer of New York, returns to New York Bred Company for her try against winners for the first time for Mark Cassie. I've always thought she's more of a turf horse. So she gets back to it here today after breaking her maiden on the Tapeta up at Woodbine. The distance concerns me slightly of a mile. I'm glad it's a mile, not anything more, but she's just very fired up. She was fired up in the paddock. She was fired up out on the racetrack. So I'm just a little worried about the distance, but I do like the spot for her. She comes back in here. She was one I liked as a 2-year-old. We'll see how she does facing state-bred competition again. Greg?
Maggie, thank you very much. 2-1 favorite, Star of the East. Hit a provisional, 5-2 on the board, and a horse that finished just behind hit a provisional in that race in which she was carried out so far wide around that first turn.
Yeah.
Barrel Destiny, who's up there at 7-1 from the rail.
I like hit a provisional. I understand where you're going to Barrel Destiny. I don't understand the money on the 10. I don't. I get it, but I'm not in love with that horse.
I love the 11 out of the same race. Had as much trouble, if not more, than anybody else out of the race. Was beaten 3 lengths, first time stretching out. Roy Learman winning at 31% on the year. This horse going a mile at better than 36 to 1.
I like it.
I'm swinging away.
I like it.
All right, let's send it upstairs. Nightcap on this Saturday afternoon from Belmont Park. Here's the voice of New York racing with the call, Larry Colmus.
Just a few left to come forward here. Mrs. Orb making her way to the starting gate. Steps forward and in. Just waiting now for She's Dreamin' and Temper's Way. She's Dreamin' going in, and Temper's Way will be last to load here. Taking position in the outside stall, and they're all in line. They're off. Good even beginning. Cirque is going out to the early lead. Citizen Matza came out running in second. Pecatonica broke third. And then it's Temper's Way on the far outside and Mrs. Orb, followed by Louisiana Lady, Summer Squeeze, and Pioneer of New York right in behind them. Hit a Provisional is next. She's Dreamin' in between horses there. And on the far outside as they continue up the backstretch is Star of the East, and the trailer is Barrel of Destiny. 22.97 that opening quarter mile. And it's Cirque in front, the leader by a length. Citizen Matza second, Temper's Way on the outside, third Pecatonica follows in fourth position, just ahead of Mrs. Orb, Hit a Provisional, Star of the East on the outside, and Louisiana Lady who's down toward the rail. Summer Squeeze is next. Then it's Pioneer of New York who's backed off 10 lengths off the lead, and then comes She's Dreamin' and Barrel of Destiny. 46.35 was the half mile as they head for the far turn. The 64-1 shot Cirque is still the leader. On top by a length over Temper's Way, second on the outside. Pecatonica has taken third at the rail. Coming on through there ahead of Citizen Matza, then Hit a Provisional. Star of the East is 4 wide as they make their way to the top of the stretch. Then it's Summer Squeeze. Cirque turns for home in front. Temper's Way still has to get to her, a length behind in second. Hit and the outside is Pecatonica in third. Cirque is still there with a furlong to run. Temper's Way is second. Here comes Star of the East, moving up in company with Summer Squeeze on the outside. Still Cirque to catch. Summer Squeeze has kicked it in late. Cirque and Summer Squeeze. Can Cirque hold on? Cirque did at a huge price. Then Summer Squeeze, followed by Star of the East.
64-1 hangs on for the win here in the Nightcap.
Wow, Cirque. And, you know, down here deep in the lane, I don't know what happens. You can see the 12 horse on the complete outside start rolling in the lane here. And I don't know if he ducks in and causes issues with the 10 or the horse inside of him, but something goes on about right here. But I don't think it's going to affect your winner. Watch the 10 sort of cut off the 13 a tiny bit there, but wow. That was a rider switch to Pablo Fragoso. This got to be his first ride at the Belmont meet at Saratoga. And he just brought in a $130 winner.
Unreal finish to our Saturday card. 9-12-10. 64-1.
Wow.
To close it out. We'll tell you what that means for the late pick 5 when we come back on America's Day at the Races.
I'm a firm believer you don't put the saddle on the pedigree. I bought him strictly because of his physique, his conformation. And then when you looked at the pedigree, it was the perfect blend. Run Happy was an incredible, incredible racehorse. Being supported by Airdrie Stud, who raises an incredible animal, to breed one of their best mares to him speaks volumes. It ended up producing an incredible result in this horse. And we just hope he runs to his looks and his pedigree.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Each year, a new dream begins. To achieve that dream, you could never rest on past success.
Audible, no doubt about it. He won it by 2.5.
Yoshida storming home in the center. Yoshida! Yoshida has won the Woodward.
Wake up, little one. It's time to dream big.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase, he won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop has arrived. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Bob Dunham, winning trainer here in the nightcap on the Saturday afternoon. Picture time. That's great to see here. Cirque 64-1 hangs on.
Yeah, and again, I say this all the time. Go back and you look back at this horse. Should this horse been 64-1? Off the last 2 races, yes. But if you look, this horse has run a 75 buyer, 67, 72 buyer, and has showed speed on the turf. I know it's looking back on it.
Speed is always dangerous. Let him run, boys. Just let him run.
Significant form in the Noble Damsel. 3 graded stakes wins this year. Kofefe, 7 furlongs is right up her alley. It's on to the Breeders' Cup Filly in Mare Sprint with a dominant performance. And pat on the back, the New York bred in open company gets his first graded stakes win of his career. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 Eastern.